The time is now 6:35 p.m. Can we please take the roll call?
Board Member Linden.
Here.
O'Rourke.
Here.
Thomas.
Present.
Vice Chair Hensley.
Here.
Chair Mashat.
Here. Can we all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
All right. All right. Welcome, everybody, tonight who's out there in the audience. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. If there's any modifications that's needed or any reorganizing, please say so. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to move.
Second. We have first and a second. Oh, we have a pause. Commissioner O'Rourke.
That's me, thank you.
Yes, sir. And welcome.
Where are we on?
We are on the CRA special call.
Never mind.
Okay, so rewinding the tape, we have a first, we have a second. Any other further discussion? See, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The approval of the agenda passes. We have no special presentations. I have no public comment cards that have come my way. Right? Nope. Okay, next we have the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion unless there is something that wishes to be pulled.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a second.
Second.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent passes. Next, we have under new business, the discussion continued on the requested sale of the Lake Park CRA property located at 800 Park Avenue. Ms. Allison Justice, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Board Chair, Board members. Thank you, Allison Justice, CRA Administrator. The last CRA meeting, we had discussed that the CRA had been approached with a unsolicited proposal to purchase the building at 800 Park Avenue, which currently houses the CRA offices and the recreation building. We discussed, you all talked a little back and forth about how you'd like us to see what properties are out there as far as looking to purchase another property within the CRA. And I was asked to bring it back again so we could, kind of discuss again. You guys can make a decision on whether you'd like to move forward with the sale, if you'd like to move forward with us keeping the CRA offices in, or how we want to proceed with that building. So just as an update, we have been looking at properties. There are some properties for sale that the CRA has inquired about and looked at that we may think might be a possibility. So if we move forward with the sale, we'll bring you back any properties that we find. And now that we have our real estate broker firms on under contract, we can get work orders to actually purchase property then.
Okay, is that all?
That's all.
Okay, thank you for that. Do we have any questions here on the dais for Ms. Justice? This is really a discussion. There's no motion to this, just more of direction of where we want to proceed. I know the last meeting we had discussion, there was a little bit of questions as far as how we're going to do this, as far as whether we're going to find the property first to purchase and then concurrently do the sale. I'm glad that you did provide us some properties of interest. And I will open the floor on the dais with the rest of my board members. Whoever wants to start first.
I'm good.
You're good? Vice Chair, anything? Board Member Thomas?
Good afternoon. I wasn't here during the first meeting. I think it was June 4th when they.
That is correct.
When the CRA Commission actually looked at this. However, there were some concerns, and I had not particularly in regards to the initiation of the purchase of the building, but as it relates to where our staff would go. I did have an opportunity to look at our current location, the 800 Park Avenue, as well as over there at Bert Bostrom Park. And this is something that I know this commission is going to have to come back and look at. We have two structures that are over there at Burt Barstrom Park. One, a pretty much dilapidated trailer that's been sitting up there. I don't know how long that it's been out of use and for what capacity it's currently being used for. But also we have a two-story structure that's CBS that's been sitting over there as well. And I don't ever recall during my presence of living here in the town if we've ever even used that two-story structure. So my thoughts are, what are we doing with it? And if we could somehow utilize those two structures, whether it is to renovate them so that Park and Recs could use them or to demolish them, but to have them sitting there idly, and there's a building that I believe the intended use at that time was to use the buildings for recreational purposes, I could see that. I don't particularly have any questions, any questions as it relates to where the CRA would go, but I would say that where they are right now, it's just a vertical that's really separating them from anywhere else in the rec building. I don't believe that they even need a large building, for all intents and purposes, because right now we just have 1.5 person that's working, right, in the CRA with you, Allison?
One currently, and we're hopefully hiring someone soon.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So as far as office space is concerned, that should not really be a major concern for us. I would certainly agree that we would want to keep the CRA director in the CRA, but for us to look at purchasing another building in order to put one person in it doesn't seem to be wise, in my opinion. We may work in a better position of maybe utilizing office space or leasing some area in order to allow for our executive director to be. But my position would be that we should move forward with trying to move forward with the purchase. Since we do have someone, a business owner here in our town, who took it upon themselves to take the initiation of coming before us as a town to put something in our downtown that is not a chain store, it's not a continuation of what it is that they have, it's something that's absolutely new. And they have been successful at their business enterprises as it is now. So I really don't want that opportunity to be lost just because we're sitting up here trying to decide where would one person go. For all intents and purposes, our recreation and special events person is not in that building anyway. I don't necessarily know how many staff persons would be involved with recreation, but we have two structures that are there. What are we doing with those two structures? What are we going to do with those two structures? Because it's a waste. So whatever funds that we have, we really should look at improving what we have as opposed to moving forward with something else. So that's my comment.
Just to ask you a quick question, what you just said, you're saying that you would be you mentioned the sale. What were you saying about the sale?
Yeah, I mean, there was initiation for, we have a business owner that came before us and requested, here, I am willing to purchase this building at 800, which is what initiated this whole process.
Okay.
And so I'm like saying that.
Okay,
no,
you're okay with that.
Right, I'm okay with that. And the only reason why we're here having this discussion is because we were trying to find space for the CRA
staff, okay.
and for recreation. And I don't know how many people are involved in recreation, but recreation should be in recreation spot. And for us to be moving around and going to the tennis center.
Right. And I think that was the initial ideas for recreation to go over to the pavilion.
Yes, the
and
option.
Kelsey, as well as set up a ADA compliant restroom for them, which you gave us a cost of that. I believe it was like $8,000.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken.
To add to the pro shop. So the recreation supervisor, who there's one staff, could go into the pro shop, and there would be activity then in the park. So I think.
And then with these, you gave us 3 offices that are leases, and then 2 that would be purchased, which are in Jasmine, 1001 Jasmine Drive, which is a condo, and I believe this other one on 10th Street that's for sale is south of that location on the east side.
Correct.
But the condo is on the west side. And then the one at Liberty Square, I'm assuming it's that last bay that's all the way to the far north of
Correct.
that plaza. And the Camellia Square, I believe, is across the street close to Oceana. If I'm
That is correct, beside,
the 1133 Old Dixie Highway, that's beyond,
it's in the CRA, but
it's in the CRA, but it's beyond that Park Avenue
Correct.
region area there.
Correct.
I myself,
Yeah, and that was what was available at the time. You know, obviously leases are ever changing, but
yeah, so, all right. Anybody else with questions, comments?
I just have a comment.
Vice Chair.
First, I would like to say Commissioner Thomas is correct. That building's been sitting there for a while. I think the last time we utilized probably soccer and back in my Lake Park Shark days when we had a rec program. I just want to make sure it is correct because I was looking at the steps of selling town property. This is just a discussion for you to go forward to look at selling the property, correct?
that is correct. If the board collectively advises to move forward, we will put a notice out. You have to notice it, you know, for at least 30 days. For this, I would suggest that we do a very short request for letters, some more for proposals, so in case we have others that want to propose on this. But we want to be specific on the type of use, the active use, so it would be kind of a bid that goes out to the broader public. So if there's anyone else that's interested, they can respond to it.
And then after we find a person to purchase, or if we find a person to purchase, we will follow the steps of the town where we do set up information about it, public residents in for the presentation and everything before it come back to the commission, correct?
That's right. And the commission then will get a presentation from whoever is, whoever may be purchasing it, and this will be an agreement. So one of the things that we want to make sure in the agreement that it stays the use that they say it's going to stay. We want some kind of protections and reverter clauses in this building to make sure that it is what we want it to be moving forward.
Okay. And the residents still get their own presentation, correct?
The residents get their
Workshop. I thought I read that they get a workshop now.
Well, it will be at the commission would get a
Oh, so all of us
presentation
together.
from
Okay.
everybody would get a presentation.
And then going back to, if we do move forward with purchasing the 800 building, and we do find somebody, it goes through the motions, and then let's say down the line, they decide to sell it, something that Commissioner Linden said that I totally agree with as well, we get first right of refusal.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why it's important to have really, for lack of a better term, a development agreement with this entity that purchases, so we make sure those things are included in this purchase and sale. It's not just a straight sale. This means something to the CRA and to the town, and we want to make sure we
Oh, absolutely.
keep it that way.
Absolutely. Okay, so at this time, then, I guess the question is, do we want our CRA administrator to move forward with putting it out for bid? Is that what you're looking
Correct.
for? So, Board Member Thomas.
Allison, did you look to see whether or not there was availability in the new Oceana building?
I do not believe they have any for space.
Space
They
there?
just rent the commercial kitchens, they have the
Okay.
canning, and then they have their operations.
And then is that Liberty Square?
Yeah, Liberty Square. That's the one at Liberty Square. It's the bay that's on the far right. It's the last bay after the karate studio.
Yeah.
So if you were standing at the front of the plaza, it's the north end of the plaza, all the way at the end. That's the one
That's
that's,
the
used to
one
be-
that's available currently.
That's the one that used to have the beauty salon? No?
No, there was
that's the
a
south end.
a thrift shop in there, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom used to go there. I know that one.
Okay.
No,
I
sorry,
just,
Mom.
my thoughts are to try to elevate or identify, the CRA and maybe go into a building that we have provided some assistance to reflect that. Those are my thoughts, in asking the question. To go there and to really illuminate what we are doing in that area, and also to bring attention to here, we can do something here if it really needs some, improvement.
Yes.
Oh, here's a question. Since CRA sets in 2040, in 14 years, I think, right?
Correct.
What happens? Those properties now transfer to,
We can transfer them to the town.
it will then be
Correct.
transferred
Yes.
to the town?
Yes.
Okay, so all purchases would actually be going under, would be funds that would be covered by the CRA?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So at this time, what is the consensus? What is the pleasure of the board?
Are you asking whether or not we would go for purchase or for lease?
What she is looking for now is direction. Do we want her to go ahead and seek bids out for purchasing the property, as well as concurrently looking for a property to relocate to?
Yes, and frankly, because of the time that it will take for the bid and this, if we're leasing, these properties may not be available when we go to lease them, but we do want to make sure that we're out there searching and keeping you updated on any properties that are available. So at this point, really the question is do we want to put the 800 building out for bid?
Yes. Board Member Rourke.
Good evening. With regard to this building has, to me, we've heard this term thrown around in the downtown area, historic value. It's really one of our nicest buildings in the downtown area. I think it gives a little bit of an identity to the downtown area, especially with regard to how it can identify the town in the center of our CRA. Last time I made those comments, and I was kind of not really in favor of putting this property out to bid, but I since have found out who has put this unsolicited bid out there. And I'm big fans of these folks. And they currently have a commercial business in our town that's thriving. And I remember when they came, when the business came here, it's a real asset to our community, and it would be a great asset to the downtown area. However, saying that doesn't mean that they're going to get it, and that kind of troubles me. So, but I know we have to go through this process, so if that's what we choose to do, so.
Yes, and you will play a part in that decision, so.
Yeah, of course.
He'll play a part in that
I'm going to
decision.
play a part in it. You guys are going to wait.
Collectively, we collectively is what.
Yes, you collectively.
Collectively.
Are you guys going to join me?
Yeah, it's okay.
Thanks.
You're not going out there alone. It's okay. All right, so it sounds like from what I'm gathering is that the execution is to go ahead and put it for bid, and I'm going to look at you all for approval. Okay.
We make a motion, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so,
gonna-
first,
For purposes of
Discussion.
okay,
For purposes of discussion,
first let's
I
put-
move to move the 800 building into the process to put it for bid.
Okay, do we have a second?
Before we second, I got it.
Well,
Yeah, we have the second
I'll,
discussion.
second before
I'll
discussion.
second that.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Now we can
Discussion.
have open discussion amongst each other.
Okay, so I want to make sure that once the bid is out, how many days the bid's out, coming back, I'm making sure I understand it and it's on the record, it's coming back to us for discussion on who or if we're going to continue to sell, correct?
That is correct. There'll be bids that'll come in. You'll provide us the documentation on these bids.
Yeah,
and
not only is my plan to the documentation, if we get multiple attractive bids on this, I would like them to make presentations to this body.
To pitch their
Yes,
presentation to us,
exactly.
which will help us get a full overview of what they plan to bring in as far as their business model to the town.
Yes, Mayor.
Yep.
I disagree with Commissioner Rook. If it's going to be somebody that's Lake Park, it's got to be Lake Park. So that's a historic building. I'm good.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, Allison, would you be doing this concurrent? Would you be looking for the lease? Because there's a lease, there's a purchase, and then there's the bid. Right now, we just have it on the table for it to go out to bid. But understand, too, that time is of the essence, and I believe time is of the essence, too, for the initiator of this request to purchase to purchase it. And I understand, too, we have our regulations that say how we would go about doing that. So my question is to you, would you be looking to try and bring forth, whether it's a contract or for lease as well as for purchase? How would you be handling this?
Yes, I will present the options as we find, make sure these buildings are still on the market.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. We'll do a special meeting and present the options for lease or purchase with costs associated with them.
Okay.
You all have to make the decision on when we lease or purchase something anyway.
Okay.
So.
I do want to say, though, if we're going to purchase a building, it really need to be looked at as far as its multi-use. You know, we shouldn't be purchasing the building just because it's to house the CRA. And if the consensus of this commission is that recreation is going to move to Kelsey Park, then the purchase of the building is for what? It's for one person to be in the CRA, you know? And so is that efficient? You know, is that spending the monies efficiently?
Well, I do know out of the two that she presented to us, this one here that's on 359 10th Street, it's 6,600 square foot. It has a multi-office space where in addition to you housing yourself there with your staff, you can also lease it out to another entity.
Correct. And that already they do have a lease in half of that building already.
So then if purchased, we could inherit that already, and then you'd have yourself a space for yourself and your staff.
We could lease space out. You know, from a CRA perspective, we could use it for businesses that we're trying to recruit into the town that maybe we want to start in this place. The reason that we had suggested purchase is for future redevelopment. So, you know, again, when we own property for future redevelopment, that's something that we have.
And then those funds from the leases would go directly into CRA.
Correct.
The building, debt service for, yeah.
Correct.
If I could, Chair,
Executive Director.
it's very common, you know, for CRAs and you know, to purchase property to help activate spaces in areas. And so just like what we're doing now with this building, we're activating a space. We're, you know, hopefully, you know, then going to be able to shift the dollars somewhere to another location that is maybe not as feasible right now, will contribute to development. And then as 10th Avenue, you know, is redone, that area that property may be more activated for development. Then you just shift your dollars to another location. And you see CRAs do that quite often. And the benefit is that you control the use that goes in. You know, Vice Mayor, I hear very clearly, you do have the direction and the control over what goes in. Mm-hmm. It's not a low bid, doesn't have to be that or highish. It's what you all want to go in and you think it's going to be the best use for our downtown and our CRA. So you'll have complete authority as a group to make that decision. So, and that's how, you know, you continue doing that and you keep activating these locations until hopefully it's doing it on its own.
How soon, if we go ahead and say, and the vote is in favor, does the bathroom get started on the pro shop?
I will speak with our Public Works Director and Recreation Director immediately at following to see how quickly, I don't know. Yeah, we get the dollars.
Okay.
We'll get a bid on it, though, first. I know that John Willie had looked at it, and we'll need to get a couple bids on it.
Okay.
Okay, one more thing I want.
Sure.
I'm still harping on the fact that we have two buildings that's over there by Burt Barstrom Park, okay? We haven't, not since I've been sitting here, have anyone actually gone and done an assessment of what it's going to cost to redo this building, right? And it would be smack in the middle of Burt Barstrom Park. I mean, it's out of the CRA. So my thoughts are, if we're going to move forward with purchasing a building, we have a building. Is it going to cost $373,000 to redo the building? I don't know. But I don't know what that renovation costs, and we already own the building, unless we're looking at removing everything that's off of Burt Barstrom Park, redeveloping that entire park, but we have a CBS structure that's there. We could move that trailer, but we have a structure. I would be more in favor of looking at a lease option. That's my personal opinion. Would be looking at a lease option as opposed to purchasing a new building, putting monies in designing it or refurbishing that building, interior, built out, whatever it would require for our staff to even get in there and do work. So I'm all for doing the bid, going out for bidding on the 800 building, but I want it to be resolved or known that we need to do something with the two structures that we have. It's 2 stories. And I don't know how it is. I've never been in it, but.
And those buildings will be part of the Burt Bostrom master plan that we're negotiating contract with right now. So
All right.
I don't have an answer, but.
All right. So right now we got a motion and a second on the floor.
I have a
Go ahead, Board Member
question
O'Rourke.
or discussion topic.
Go ahead.
My view is that I would like to look at this whole process here as a net positive for revenue to the town, meaning that if we were choosing to put 800 up for sale, I would take the money in before I would make any plans to do anything else. I think the idea of redoing the park at Kelsey and the structures there, that's something that should have been done many, many years ago and was not. But it's never too late. It may be too late for the building at Burt Bostrom. That building has been shuttered for, I would guess, about 15 years. I don't know if anybody has been in that building in 15 years. I would be frightened to think about what the interior of that structure looks like.
Well, that structure there, Board Member, used to be like, when they had baseball games and stuff.
I know what it is.
Yeah. So.
It's a scorer's.
Right, it's
room.
It's the
Reunion
scorer's
Frank
building.
Special Events Director. It's the concession stand and the scoring room. So right now it's used as storage. We haven't used it for anything else. The stairs are not that great, but it is a part of, like Allison said, the Burt Bostrom Park Master Plan.
But the Burt Bostrom master plan is something separate, and I think we should keep those things separate
Right.
than to lump that into what we're doing with 800. I think we should take, if 800 is going to bring us revenue for the downtown, let's take that money. We can apply it to revamping the buildings in Kelsey Park, even though I don't know if we could do that actually.
Not with
Thinking about that
not with-
CRA outside, okay.
Not
Never
with CRA
mind that. The restrictions sometimes that we're under, we have to abide by. But I'm sure that doing the park over at Kelsey Park is a much better idea than at this time worrying about doing Burt Bostrom Park over. That's going to be a project that's going to take time. The Kelsey project, if we were to endeavor that, I think we could get going a little quicker, and that building is a little bit more feasible to work with. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And one more thing, I want to hold you to that, Commissioner O'Rourke, that 800 is going to bring us revenue, not $1 a year lease. That's not revenue, okay? So I want it to be told that when we're talking about improvements, let's bring some revenue in here, because $1 a year is not revenue to us, okay?
Okay. All right, so we've had discussion. We have a motion and a second. So all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. You have your direction as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me get my, you see that from it? Thank you. All right, next we have under new business, Resolution 370725, Paint, Plant, and Pave Residential Incentive Program Grant for Ms. Allison Walters at 811 Bayberry Drive for $10,000.
Allison, are you here?
Ms. Justice.
I have not met Ms. Walters yet. I've talked to her on the phone several times, so I knew she was going to be here. So Ms. Walters owns a home at 811 Bayberry Drive. As part of our CRA programs, we do have a residential program that we call Paint, Plant, and Pave. This is for the aesthetics of the exterior of homes within the neighborhood. She does live at 811 Bayberry Drive, which is within the CRA. This is the home that she has purchased, and there have already been some upgrades that she has done to the porch, to the front areas, to the driveways. These pictures are a little bit difficult to see, but I'll show you what the plans are with the CRA grant. So the patio was repaved and leveled, stairs. The home has more curb appeal than it had, some landscaping and mulch in the front yard. And the proposal was, she's already removed a chain link fence that is around the sides of the property, and this is for a decorative wooden fence that will be placed at the property line with her neighbors. And again, as part of the grant, the quote for the fence was $8,000. The grant is a not to exceed. It's a reimbursable, so whatever is spent on the fence, I put it as a not to exceed $10,000. Not included in the CRA grant are the improvements that were already made to the front patio, landscaping, the chain link fence removal, and irrigation, which was previously completed. And that's all I have. With that, I'll answer any questions. And
Okay, thank you for that. Very happy to see somebody stepping forward for that grant. This is the type of stuff you want to hear, is people looking to beautify their home. And it's good that they're coming in to seek help on that. So I will entertain questions. Vice Chair, did you have one?
No, I do. Some of the work is already done to the house?
some of the work has already been done, including, I believe, some of the landscaping in the front, as well as the front steps and the patio, and some improvements along the driveway.
I just want to say, when I saw these pictures, I was kind of a little confused, and I drove by the house before I came here, and I'm like, man, that's looks very nice.
Okay, good. Sometimes pictures
I
can be
didn't
a
know
little
they did work
deceiving.
I did as well.
Yeah, good.
Same here.
I said the same thing. It's pretty impressive.
Thinking about getting that gate till I just saw the price of it, so
I know, right?
When did they purchase the property?
I will need to
Where is
ask.
she?
Come
Come on up here.
Come on up
We're
here.
going to give you some money, so we need to talk to you. We want to know who you are.
Hi.
Hello. Talk to us.
Introduce
Tell us about.
yourselves.
Introduce yourself.
I bought the house a year ago in October
Okay.
Okay.
2023.
And you are?
Allison Walters.
Okay.
And you're moving here from?
Jupiter.
Oh,
He lived in Abacoa before.
Okay.
And you're going to make Lake Park your home
Yeah, we've lived here for over a year now, so,
Sounds
in
like
that,
this-
in that property?
yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
What-
like you're setting a foundation
Yeah.
for expansion of family.
And the house is shared with rentals behind it. They're a little chaotic sometimes, so it would be a safer environment for us and our neighbors because they do not have a fence either.
Okay.
They don't have a what? I'm sorry.
A fence.
Okay.
How have you liked living there?
How,
How have you enjoyed living there?
I like it. I like it. It's close to my job. I work at Clematis, so,
Oh, you work downtown?
yeah.
Good for you.
Me too.
Okay.
Cool. You probably see me grabbing lunch.
Are you a native here
Yeah, born and raised.
in Florida here?
Yeah. I came
Awesome.
from Wellington.
You came from?
Wellington.
Oh, you're like Western community to the Eastern community. Awesome. Love it. Okay.
Welcome to Lake Park Living. Allison, I have a question. The grant, is there a forgiveness time for the grant?
It is a 2-year, it must own the property for 2 years. We had that discussion, so, they plan on making Lake Park their home. There is not a mortgage attached to it, but there is a personal guarantee attached to it
Okay.
for this amount of dollars.
So in essence, they just need to own the property for one more year,
No, 2 years
Oh, 2
after
years is in
the,
effect
after the
once
grant.
the grant.
2 years after
once
the grant.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And living in it, residing,
Residing.
or
in it.
just ownership?
I believe it says ownership on the grant agreement.
But not live in?
I know, but she just brought up a really good point that we prefer residents over investors.
Correct.
Come on
Yeah,
up
please
here.
you have to
Please,
come to the
stay
mic.
up
Yeah, you
here.
have to come
Stay
to the
up
mic.
here.
I purchased it in October 2023, so a little over a year is the time frame.
And what the discussion we were just having was, sometimes we're very concerned about people buying property, getting money from the towns so they can improve their investment and then sell it off. We're not interested in that process. We're interested in bringing people into our town.
Yeah.
And you seem to be that type of a person. You don't mind if I bring my dog by and stop and say hello to
I
you?
have a dog too, so
Oh, well, then I can't do that. You don't know my dog.
she's friendly.
He's talking more about his
Talking
dog.
about my dog. Anyway, very good. Any other questions?
Any
Yeah.
questions?
Allison, I would feel more comfortable if we can amend it to include that owner occupied, not just,
We can do that.
yeah, I would feel a lot more comfortable.
I agree.
And you
with
can,
that.
you can express that as well in the motion.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are exactly what we'd like to see, young families moving into our town, and really taking a chance. So I love it. And if you love it, I like it even more. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you.
that, to hear that.
Yes, and
that you do.
especially since you moved away from Abacoa, to this quaint little community. Yeah, we're totally loving it. Thank
Okay,
you.
So now we can tell you a little history of this. This is the first planned community in the state of Florida. Did you know that? So you went from, a new planned community to the original planned community in Florida.
Yeah, it's not a very large town, so it's like.
It's awesome.
Possibilities are going to be endless, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good.
Okay, so at this time, we will entertain a motion, and with that motion,
I move to approve the grant, with that grant being eligible for owners and occupiers of the property.
okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a set.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Owners, you mean owner occupied?
Yes.
Correct. owner
Okay.
occupied.
Because he said owners and occupied. So I want to make sure it's owner occupied.
I amend to have it, my motion say owner occupied.
Thank you so much. No, you seconded,
I
did you?
already seconded. I'll second the amended
You can go back now.
motion.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion?
we in the discussion?
Yes, we are in discussion.
Allison, I'm just a little confused. In the recommended motion, it's 10,000. We're going to go 8 and not 10?
So the quote for the fence was only 8. So, but the grant allows to up to 10. So if the actual price when the fence is done is 8,500, we will reimburse 8,500. So whatever is paid for the fence.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Grant
Congratulations.
passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Welcome,
again,
welcome.
welcome to Lake Park, and enjoy pickleball. All right. With that, CRA Administrator comments.
Yes. Quickly for the board, some updates. The Lake Park Growth Coalition Business Group is planning their next meeting. The CRA administrator, I will plan to be in attendance to update on anything happening within the CRA, any information that I can provide of businesses that attend when they do get this meeting set up. I also have, the last meeting that the North Palm Beaches Chamber was here and gave their presentation, and FAU was here that gave their presentation about the programs they're running with the Chamber. I had a meeting with the Chamber as well as with the representative from Florida Atlantic. They are offering on August 5th, they have a business plan class that's held at the Chamber in Palm Beach Gardens. These classes that they host are they promote them, and then businesses have to sign up because they like to personalize businesses. So it's not just kind of an open public meeting. People register and sign up their business. They give them information. They would like to host their next meeting in Lake Park, which I'm working on a location now. I've reached out to Amy to see if we can do it at Oceana. And it is on trade, international trade. So businesses that deal with importing and exporting. There's 15 slots. So I'm going to target some businesses within Lake Park. If you know of any businesses that deal in dealing with imports and exports, which a lot do, including Amy, she, with the coffee, but please let me know. They'll reserve several slots. What they're going to do is whatever trade business they're in, these businesses that are attending, they will run reports on the markets. They will give them information. So again, it's more of an intimate approach to dealing with these and working with these businesses. And it gives an opportunity for the businesses that come from outside of Lake Park to come into Lake Park to visit, to see what we're doing in Lake Park. So there'll be some businesses that are within our town and some that come from outside of the town into Lake Park. The new business, the Purple Lizard at 826 Park Avenue, hosted a soft opening last weekend. I've been discussing with him on the grand opening. I know, Commissioner, you'd mentioned they might have a date. I've not confirmed it with him, but I will make sure that all of the commissioners are confirmed if we would like to host a ribbon cutting when they do a grand opening event. So, also, as I mentioned, we are interviewing for the CRA project marketing coordinator. Again, we had to put the job posting back out, so I'm in the first stage of interviews right now. We will interview with the town manager and HR director next week. Hopefully be able to make an offer within a couple of weeks. So we've got some really good candidates that I've already spoken to, so I'm excited to introduce them to the rest of the team. And just to update you all, I've updated a couple of you staff, including Public Works and Community Development, and the CRA met with the Palm Beach TPA, Transportation Planning Authority, last week, also with representatives from FDOT. Regarding the feasibility of commuter rail. And you all know, I believe, that this study was done about 14 years ago. They started looking at potential station locations throughout Miami-Dade and Palm Beach County. And they have moved a little faster in Miami-Dade County. There are some constraints getting over the river in Fort Lauderdale or under, or however they decide to end up doing that. Brightline has taken some of their station locations, so they're re-looking at this. And their whole goal is to become part of the Palm Beach County Transportation Master Plan that they're getting ready to kick off. So they would like to have these stations within that master plan when they get it put together. Realistically, they're looking at another, likely 15 years before we see anything in Palm Beach County. But they want to have costs, so they're working on capital costs, and they're working on operational and maintenance costs for these platforms that would be in towns. We are currently one of 3 locations as a second-tier location. The main locations are Palm Beach Gardens is a main stop, West Palm Beach has a main stop. In between was 45th Street, Riviera Beach, and Lake Park, and they weren't sure where they wanted to put that location. Currently, they believe now it's between Riviera Beach and Lake Park because they've moved the West Palm station a little north. They don't necessarily want the 45th Street station. So that's just, again, kind of the next iteration of these feasibilities. They will do feasibility for one station. We don't know in the future which location it will end up in. Both sites have some constraints, and both sites they believe will be around the same cost. So they will price out one station. In the future, it will either be in Lake Park, where our current train station site that the town owns is, or in Riviera Beach, which is off of Blue Heron, where their city hall is currently. So that's the update from them, and we'll get the pricing, I think, once they finalize their study. But
Okay.
that's all the updates I
I
have.
want the station.
What's that?
So you know where I want the station.
I know where I want the station too, but it's not going to be. They said keep moving forward. Obviously, they'll look at what happens with future redevelopment of the areas before they make a decision on where it's going to go. So we're still, again, you don't want to become out of that conversation. So we still want to be in that conversation.
Absolutely. All right, thank you for that update. Executive Director, do you have any updates for us? Okay, board member comments? Okay, we have none there. Any, all right, so then
No
with that,
comments?
no comments, so we will entertain a motion of adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we are done with the CRA
Can we
portion.
take a 2-minute break?
Yes, we can. We'll take a 2-minute break and we'll go right to the regular commission meeting.
Thank you.
And start from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is the Town of Lake Park, Florida regular commission meeting for Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. The time is now 7:28 p.m. Can we have the clerk please take the roll call?
Commissioner Linden? Here. Commissioner Thomas?
Present.
Commissioner Overwork?
I'm present too.
Vice Mayor Hensley?
Here.
Mayor Mashad?
Here. Okay, we're going to bypass the Pledge of Allegiance because we've already done that in our earlier meeting. Next, I have the approval of the agenda. Again, if you have any modifications you wish to make or any reorganizing, please call that out now. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Wait a minute. I do.
Okay.
I do too.
Commissioner Thomas, you do have one?
Yes.
I think it's on consent, right? Maybe?
Yes, I think that there's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or do you have a question that we can maybe
No.
ask?
It's no. They're all on consent. The ones that I wanted like to pull. I wanted to pull 3, 4, and 5.
3, 4, and 5. Okay,
Yes.
so let me know that 3, 4, 5 are being pulled from consent. The rest of the items will remain, and we will vote on that once we get.
Wait
Commissioner Rourke, you said
I
something as well?
have something, I'm trying to find it here. I don't know, I think it was pulled, I was looking at a different thing, and it's no longer on the agenda, it was something pulled off. There was something that was in the regular agenda that I thought,
We have
there was something with regard to the IT program.
Yes. That's 4.
Okay, it
That's
was.
item 4.
It was not on
It's on consent.
before, okay. I wanted it on, all right.
Yeah, that's been already pulled by Commissioner Thomas.
Okay.
Okay, so other than that, the rest will remain, correct? Yes. Okay, so we have items 3, 4, and 5 pulled from consent. Items 2, 6, and 7 will remain. Outside of that, anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second?
Second.
First and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The approval agenda passes.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
We're not there yet, sir.
I withdraw that motion.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
I'm trying to get through, this is going to be a long meeting
Great to be
tonight.
back,
It's
right?
going to be long.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next, we have on the special presentation and report, Marina P3 quarterly update presentation by Forest Development. We have our members of Forest Development here. We'd like to welcome you, and we are looking forward to hearing this report. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. For the record, Larry Zabik from Forest Development and
Peter Batarian from Forest Development.
we're back with our quarterly updates now, and we're happy to be able to bring tonight's report. We got some very good news this afternoon. The manager was able to share with us. Let's see. We received word today that we got a copy of the draft agenda that will be going to the Governor and Cabinet on the 16th of September for resolution of the reverter items. It's recommended for approval. That will then circulate amongst the department heads, but we're very encouraged by that, and we think that's very good news. Overall, as you're aware, a couple of the commissioners are, and I know we have a couple new commissioners. The hotel, boat storage, restaurant, and marina pods, the leases were approved. We have resubmitted the PUD and site plans in June. Nadia and her team are working on those now, and they will work their way through your normal planning, zoning, and then town commission approval process. We are excited about, and we had prepared these slides before the commission, that we would make the September 16th meeting. I think it's looking very good that that will happen. And we are meeting weekly with your senior staff. We've got a set meeting every week, and those folks that need to participate are involved, and that is helping us to move things forward very, very well. In addition, there's a revised timeline, and I'll be able to talk about that a little bit in the package tonight. The P3 critical path is continuing, and that is what we're driving. As part of the resolution of the reverters with the state, we will be working to bring the marina into full compliance, and we think we're well on our way to working that out. One of the items that we were concerned with was initial feedback from the state was that we had to bring it into compliance before staff would even take it to the governor and cabinet. What we're doing is we're asking for those to be conditions of approval, and it looks like that's going to happen. And I don't think there's going to be any problems with that. So in the end, we'll bring the marina into full compliance with all of the existing deeds and reverters with the state. The boat clubs have been notified. They're evaluating their options. And we're looking to relocate the barge into a small area that is unaffected by reverters that the state has effect on. So the marina and boat storage pods redevelopment critical path, we have selected and partnered with City Harbor LLC. The principal is Ray Graziato, and that will be the partner for those two pods. And Peter and Ray are working very closely on moving those portions of the work together and forward. The first permit was submitted about 18 months ago. The town signs all of the permits. The response to comments is ongoing with the Department of Environmental Protection and the Corps of Engineers. And this will cover us for the relocation of the dry boat storage and relocation of the boat, of the trailer access, and allow us to have the dry boat storage located at the marina. This is where the new boat ramp will be located, and in addition to that, there will be trailer parking and additional parking renovations, but it was important from the group's perspective that we show the commission where the trailer boat launching is going to be relocated to. The hotel component is moving along smartly as well, and we have that site plan and that PUD in for review. The site plan includes new architectural elevations and floor plans, and we anticipate those will be shared with the commission soon. We are in negotiations with a hotel management agreement, and it will be a Marriott. We're looking at an autograph or tribute level hotel. The critical path that was included in the comprehensive agreement has been updated. There's two parts to that exhibit. The first part of the exhibit is verbal, how many days things will take place, and the trigger for everything was resolution of the reverters. So this update to the schedule uses the September 16th date as the anchor for everything, and I've set the schedule up so you see a little green bar on top of the red bar. We'll be able to track actuals and give you an update every quarter on where we stand with each of those items. And with that, I want to open it up to any questions that we may be able to answer for you. And thank you for your time.
I do thank you for that presentation. I will open up the floor on the dais for any questions you have for us and their representatives.
I'm good.
Commissioner O'Rourke?
Yeah, the date that you have for with the state, that date, hopefully, if it goes well with the state, you will be paying a $600,000. No, we will.
1.2 million.
I think it's 600,000 to the cabinet.
Oh, for the
Right.
appraisal, yes.
To the town of Lake Park.
And then that triggers the payment by Forest Development to the town, correct? Of 1.2 million, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a document that has to get recorded, but shortly after.
Okay,
approval.
yeah. But that's how it works, right? Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Commissioner Thomas, you have anything?
Actually, this is to our attorney. We are looking to be scheduled on the governor's cabinet agenda on September 16th. However, we will still have encumbrances on the parcel until September the 30th. Is the governor's cabinet somewhat aware of that?
It's my understanding that Forrest's consultant is having that dialogue with the DEP staff at a high level. And their staff report that we saw today reflects that there's an understanding of that. And I believe it's going to move forward. But that's up to the, ultimately up to the staff, and then it goes on to the cabinet aides. and then they brief the cabinet before the cabinet meeting.
Okay.
But
Now-
that's the plan, and that's the way it's been essentially programmed, is that essentially a guarantee that the conflicts, as the DEP refers to them, will be resolved. So,
Prior to or on, I just,
well,
I'm just nervous, you know, in that sense, because I also read two emails that came in this afternoon that are also encumbering that, and I know this doesn't necessarily relate to that, except for the barge that we have, but I'm just concerned because I want to have some guarantee that the cabinet isn't going to look over that fence on that other issue, and that Forest 2 will be out of that area, so that the cabinet doesn't say, here, you haven't resolved that, so therefore we don't want to move forward with this agenda item.
I'd like to introduce, we've added to our team Lee Feldman from the Euclid Group. And he's helping.
Repeat that again, Larry?
Lee Feld.
Okay.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Lee Feldman. I'm a principal with the Euclid Group, which has been retained by Forest Development. We are working with Brightwater Strategies on the FDEP matter. The principal at Brightwater Strategies is Noah Valenstein. He's the former FDEP secretary on there, and he's been able to work with FDEP staff, the secretary, deputy secretary, and district secretary, who are all aware of the issues with regard to the September 30th dates for the boat clubs and the barge. We've represented to FDEP that the reverters will not go into place until all the actions are taken necessary to basically clean it up, remove the conflicts. The governor and cabinet will take their action, knowing that the date is after the September 16th meeting, and FDEP today recommended approval based upon that knowledge to the governor and cabinet. We expect them to heed the staff's approval recommendation and move forward with the understanding that everything will be removed by the September 30th date or shortly thereafter.
Okay. The shortly thereafter is my concern.
Well, basically what would happen is the reverters would not go into effect. The reversion on the deeds would not go into effect until everything is cured. Okay. So let's say that happened on October 10th because somebody still remained in noncompliance, then the reverters would be released on October 10th. So,
okay.
But the governor, cabinet can take the action prior to, with it being contingent upon.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Manager.
Sure. And I just wanted to follow up with Mr. Feldman. So today, the attorney also noticed both of the membership boat clubs that their contracts expire at the end of September. So we've noticed them that we will not be renewing. So those will be required to be removed from the deed restricted areas. If we do find other areas that are non-deed restricted areas that we can locate some of the boats, that will be a separate agreement, a separate issue. We've set up a meeting with Forest Development for next week where we'll talk about the same thing. We've already been provided in writing that they will begin to move the barge either by a date or by a certain date. So we feel that it'll, comfortable that we'll have an agreement brought back to you all with regards to where the barge can be located, if it can be located. And then we'll bring that back to you at a date. But we expect all this to be done by the end of September for all three of the impacts.
That would be my question. Yeah. The location that you might be looking at to relocate, is that a suffice location for that barge? Because, of course, that barge is not it's a sizable barge, so
We-
I'm sure
we-
patients are scarce in that.
Yeah, a relocation plan has been submitted to staff. Staff is reviewing it. It's our intention to remove the barge out of the conflicted area.
Okay. Okay.
And we appreciate, Forrest and their commitment in writing to move the barge out of the deed restricted area. That's been provided to us already in an email. So we appreciated that. So.
Yeah, that is greatly appreciated. So, okay.
Wait.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you for the presentation. I will like to get back on track with our quarterly presentations that we're so far behind. The last presentation I believe we had was in December. So if we can just get back on track you look at the time, I'm looking at the timelines, we're far behind. And that bring a question for me because I was listening to the dialogue here. The $2 million payment, would it be done August 2nd or on the approval? I was a little confused about that.
That's 1.2.
You mean the 1.2?
Yeah, 1.2, I'm sorry, yeah.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't understand the question.
What is the date of payment?
The payment to the town.
To the town for the 1.2.
After the approval of resolution of the reverters.
And we don't have a date for that, correct?
Let me take a look at the comprehensive agreement. I mean,
Yeah, if
whatever's
you-
in there is what we're intending to comply with, and we'll let the town manager know so he can advise you.
I thought I was under the impression it was August 2nd.
Yeah, I thought it was August 2nd, that's what I was checking.
I think it was.
Actually, make sure you go on the mic.
Might have been August 2nd, but it was also, or the reverters resolved.
All right, I just would like if we can get back on track. We're a little bit behind and a lot.
We'll check that right away and
3 years.
make sure you have a heads up.
All right.
Okay, thank you. If we can look in, okay. Commissioner Linden, do you have any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay. We thank you for this presentation and look forward to more updates in the future.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, no problem. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all.
All right, next we have public comment. I have 3 public comment cards. I have one for Ms. Leduc, and Ms. Leduc, you know that one of our commissioners has pulled that item on, so you'll wait till that item is being discussed, correct? Okay, good. That works perfectly. And then we have another one where Mary Taylor, who is on another item, will call you when that item is being discussed as well. So with that, I will call up Mr. Pablo Perez, and welcome.
Thank you. Homeowner, taxpayer, resident, and voter. I'm here because I've spoken a couple times about traffic speeding. I'd like to say that I've done a preliminary review of the data that Mr. Morales has provided. He did a study on Palmetto, as did the Sheriff's Department. And after having done that review, I went and spoke and met with Captain Thibodeau and Sergeant Pizzoni of the Sheriff's Office. And I can report that I've heard anecdotally that there have been at least 5 stops on Palmetto. There's been a DUI that was garnered from that stop. I have personally seen the Sheriff's Department vehicles there with officers in them, and I've seen stops made, and then I have 3 more residents who have told me that they have seen the same sort of thing. So my purpose for being here is to say that progress is being made and to give credit to Mr. Morales and to the Sheriff's Department. There's more work that needs to be done, but law enforcement has certainly stepped up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda. Again, just for the record, items 3, 4, and 5 have been pulled from consent. So the motion will be for items 2, 6, and 7, and I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
To accept with the ones
Okay, so
taken.
Commissioner Linden has made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner O'Rourke has seconded. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Consent passes. We will now address those 3 items that have been pulled. Item number 3, Resolution 380725, Scope of Services Agreement for Stormwater Infrastructure Design and Grant Support of Water Resource Management Associations, Inc., otherwise known as WRMA, for $134,012.40. I will open the floor with you, Commissioner Thomas, since you were the one that pulled the item up.
Yes, thank you. The purpose of me pulling the items were that there were some plans that were provided as part of our backup with the drainage project that's being proposed for 2nd Street and 3rd and 2nd Street from Park Avenue to Calmea and, of course, Alec Park. Some of the questions, of course, I did provide, I did ask our staff to address prior to today, but I want to ensure, or really want to ask the question, that the $134,000 that we're looking at would be for the design of the stormwater infrastructure, not for the design and implementation of the features or improvements that will be occurring at either of these parks, one being the Lotta Mae Miller Park, the other one being the Blakely Park, and 3rd being really Ilex Park.
That is correct, Commissioner. So the intent of this agenda items is to start the preliminary concept, and by all means, Jamie Morales representing Public Works. And like I was saying, the concept of this $134,000 that we're going to use to contract our engineering firm is to do the conceptual design to start these projects, the 3 projects, and they're also going to help us develop the grant application as we did for the Southern Outfall. This is these projects, the core essence of these projects is to address the flooding within these located areas. The amenities that are within the presentation, they're just only merit concepts. They're not designed. So we will, as we move forward, we will define or refine the conceptual plan for the final plans with the consents and the input of the community and the commissioners. So this does not represent the final product. This is just the proposal to move to develop the conceptuals, for us to go for grant, to develop the final design, design plans and construction. For the stormwater
drainage.
Yes,
for stormwater drainage,
yes.
Correct?
Infrastructure, that's
okay.
correct.
Because there are some concerns, one about holding all of that water, one at Lotta Mae, the other one would be at Blakely. So, for example, the one at Blakely, it would appear that we would have to rip everything out of Blakely in order to hold the water that's there. And I remembered maybe 16, 17 years ago, the town did improvements there by planting a lot of trees. And those trees now are very mature, especially the oak trees that are there. So my concern would be, oh, wow, we have old specimen trees that are there now. How are we going to, hold the water there? Lotta Mae is in a visual triangle, where that is. And to try and put major features that are in there is going to, I think, impact people the visual triangle, just trying to get around in that area like I'm having right now with the big pole that's over there on 2nd and Palmetto. Yeah, it's a huge problem. But we don't see this until it's after constructed, right?
That's correct. Well, there is going to be, I cannot say there wouldn't be any inconvenience as the project enters into the construction phase.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the final product will provide an infrastructure that's underground. It will not be visual. It would not have a impact within our current amenities. Whatever we do after the chambers are installed, which this is one of the concepts, then it's totally different. We could create a passive park. We could keep it the way it is right now. We could create different amenities. Whatever the community wants and the direction of the town commission is, that's what the final product would be. Now, the core essence of the project is to develop this infrastructure that will help us alleviate the flooding within these areas. That's the whole core concept.
Would the elevation in these parks change? You know, like, I mean, since you're going to be putting, you know,
The same concept that we have right now, Burt Bostrom,
Yeah.
is the same concept that will go with these projects.
but remember now, Burt Bostrom, we have a little grade change there because of, you know, additional.
Well, the only grade that we have changes in Burt Bostrom were a couple of inches, and it's only because we retained the soil for future development. But if we would not have needed to keep that soil there, we would have kept the same.
It would have been at the same grade.
elevation.
Okay,
that
so,
same grade.
so we're not looking for grade changes at any of these parks. It's really just to retain these waters until they are able to go out through the southern outfall.
That's correct.
Okay. Would and I don't know, and you probably don't know either, but like for the improvement that's going to be on 2nd Street, north of Park Avenue, right? And I do know the exfiltration, I guess, which is, so explain that to us. Explain that to the community.
Okay,
Because we
so-
see these, you know, crates in the ground, and we're like, okay, that must be, you know, stormwater drainage. So could you explain that?
So in essence, and I was surprised when I started in the town, is that the corridor, 2nd Street corridor that goes north from Park Avenue to Calmia, yeah, there's no stormwater infrastructure. We do have inlets that collect water, but they serve as independent units where they just collect and percolate. That's it. They're not unified. They don't work as a system, holistic system. So one of the visions that the engineer is proposing is to create infrastructure that will connect the stormwater runs out collection and take them down to Berkeley Park, where they're going to be stored and slowly released. So that way, the current situation that we have on 2nd Street, when we have rain events, we will mitigate the collection of that water, because now we have a system that will move that water towards the chambers that will, like I said, slowly release and retain and release the runs
So
off.
basically a slow discharge to the southern outfall,
That's
retain the
correct.
water for a time, filtration in between, and then everything moves smoothly.
That's correct. That's correct.
So I know when we were doing 2nd Street south of Park Avenue, when we did the bioswales, and I made the request that at least up until, I think, what's that called? Greenbrier, right? Because I knew that area would flood on the north
North side.
and right. That we addressed that as part of the southern, you know, improvements. So I do want to say thank you, because since then, we have had less flooding, if any at all. So I'm just wanting to ensure that once the design is done, this is all going to be collected, and it's all going to go through the southern outfall. So what's in the south and what's in the north all will be tied together.
That's correct.
Okay.
And in Lily May, what we want is to alleviate the flooding at the elementary school within that area. So we want to move that challenge towards the park, so we could collect and support also 2nd Street South, so we could probably mitigate as much as possible the news runs flooding in those areas.
Okay, so I will let you know right now, right, that I know we have a nuisance on 2nd Street. The nuisance is those mature mahogany trees that's probably been sitting there for 50 years because they're huge, right? But it also creates character for our community. And it also provides a buffer for the tall building that's in our town.
So
and
we
so
will
I'm
be-
just saying, if when we look at that, right, that maybe we don't take out that beautiful character. I mean, I know that it's rather deciduous, so, you know, it sheds a lot. But I'm like thinking that maybe as we look through that, it might be. And another issue that I'm thinking of too, we do have a traffic issue concern, you know, along 2nd, especially 2nd and Greenbrier, right? So I'm hoping that when we do the improvements, we look at that whole impact as well, because we will be in the right-of-way.
So one of the aspects that we want to encourage the engineer as he develops the final design or proposal, actually we will be coming to the commission to give updates on the design and to get the input from the community and the direction from the town commission, is to look at what solutions could we implement, what strategies can we utilize to first retain the beautification, the character of the corridor, try to save as much trees as possible. So we're giving him the task to come up with solutions, viable solution, option 1, option 2, so we could look at them. And the most feasible one that we believe it goes with the character, it goes with the community's appetite, and it goes with the direction of the commission. And obviously, it's the most appealing and cost benefit for the grantor. If we get a grant, then that's the one we will propose and we will present.
Okay, and one last thing,
Yes.
Ilex Park.
And we know we have new improvements, but there's
Yeah.
the proposed stormwater improvement that we are right now trying to develop is to the southeast part of the park, that undeveloped area. Where we
Okay.
have right now the sign, where the sign is right now that says the park.
Yes.
That little small area is the area that we want to develop.
Yeah, because, but based on the picture that I saw, it wasn't that, it was the north side that I saw, that they were looking at possible drainage. But I would prefer
That
if
south
they look
area.
at the south end of it where it's identified, because we did all of those improvements less than 2 years ago, for the park.
I agree.
Okay.
At the time that they had developed that sketch,
Yes.
we still had not done the improvements to
Okay,
the park.
because,
Yes, so
yeah,
that's
okay,
why.
because I just wanted to be, for us to be rather aware of that, because we put a lot of improvements there, and to dig it all up and redo that, I just think that just wouldn't be,
No, there would be minimum impact to the new area, to the
Okay.
developed area.
thank you.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
Commissioner O'Rourke, do you have any questions?
No,
Okay.
not on this item.
No questions from this side as well, correct?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, I do have a public comment card for this agenda item for Patricia LeDuc. And welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Patricia LeDuc, 409 2nd Street, and Mr. Morales so graciously answered a lot of the questions that I had regarding the Lottie Mae Park. In the proposal, it did state that there would be a fenced dog park on the western side of Lottie Mae, and on the eastern side of the Lottie Mae Park, a fenced-in play area with recycled tire materials. And to me, to have a very unique situation with the properties that surround, we do pretty much have almost 14 homes that are directly looking at that Lottie Mae Park, and I think it would be a shame to have us all look out at a 4-foot or 5-foot tall fence along that whole park. It is a passive park. I would love to see it remain a passive park. Obviously, with the the drainage improvements, which I agree are necessary, we want to make sure the children are safe at the school. So let's go forward with all that. But I think as a passive park with maybe a shade area, a bench, some native plants, maybe create like a little educational garden for the children that they could walk to from the school instead of fencing it off and putting like a playground with a fence next to a dog park with a fence, and then inviting children who, they like to put their fingers through. They want to pet the little puppies. I just don't think that it would be a reasonable location. We don't have any additional parking. If people are going to live in the area, there's not really a lot of children in that area, but that park is very utilized. They do have a lot of dog walkers that walk around the park. Commissioner O'Rourke is also one of those that enjoys walking around that park. We do as well. I am 4 dogs. I have 2. I love children. I have 2. I have 3 grandchildren. But let's utilize this. I would love to see like a, something more environmental friendly and educational for the children. And I would like to just kind of scratch that plan of the dog park in, another park. We do have a beautiful park at Kelsey Park within 2 blocks, and we are going to be doing some improvements at Burt Bostrom. It would be kind of like over parking, playground parking. If we had 3 in a row, let's keep it a passive park, use it to be more educational and more useful to all the residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to go ahead on and approve Resolution 380725.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, resolution passes. Next, we have Resolution 390725, interlocal agreement with Information Technology Network Services, fiber for Palm Beach County. Again, this is an item you pulled, Commissioner Thomas, and I will open the floor with you.
Okay, this is an issue, this is one that I pulled because I wanted to know, one, the public Wi-Fi that we have in town, if this was part of it. And then the second thing was we're going to be paying $17,400 annually, I guess, to the county, and I wanted to know how that worked. And then I wanted to find out that based on the agreement, it stated that 1 year was going to be charged at $17,400, and then you had 4 years of automatic renewal. So I had a list of questions that I had asked our IT person to let me know what it meant. One was, could the town have its own internet service and then sell it off? Would there still be free internet that would be provided publicly to our residents? And who were the provider of that free internet service, and whether or not this was related to it? I will say that many of my answers were addressed, but I did want to put it on the record that I had asked this of staff. And so if Paul is here, if you don't mind, responding to some of the questions that I had, I would appreciate it.
Sure. Paul McGinnis, Chief Information Technology Officer. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I appreciate the questions from Commissioner Thomas today, and in response to her questions, this agreement, we already had an agreement in place with the county for network services, as in fiber. There is a distinction between fiber and internet. It's not internet. The fiber that we receive from the county is the backbone of our network. It allows us to communicate from all of our various locations, so Public Works, the marina, the library, CRA building, and Lake Shore Park. So each of those locations has a connection back here to Town Hall. Here in Town Hall, we have our central data center where all of our data is stored. And in order for us to work in our various locations, we need to be able to communicate quickly back to our data centers. So although it's not internet, it does allow us to get to the internet, and we do receive our internet services through the state's Lambda Rail. So it is interconnected, but it's not the same thing. So it is also not the free Wi-Fi that is available to students/residents located throughout the town. That is a separate program, the Digital Divide, that the county, the school district, and the town collaborated on in order to put Wi-Fi access points on poles located throughout the town. And this agreement has nothing to do with that service.
That's what I really wanted, to have an understanding of whether or not we were going to be taking that service away, whether or not it was going to be available. If it was available, could we charge, town residents for it, et cetera? So I was really appreciative of that. Thank you so much.
Yep, and the county has not raised the rates. We currently pay $17,400 annually. They have not raised the rates for the next 5 years, so we've locked in the rate. I also reached out to private entities to just compare what we might be paying if we weren't using the county. And what I was seeing was 2 to 3 times more for a private company to provide these services than the county. So we are getting good value for our money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so in basic terms, you're creating an intranet to share files and programs amongst each other through a local network.
Yes, it's basically, it is our network for the town. So we run all of our services, including anything data related, but also security cameras. Those also run on this network. So anything technology related runs on this network, and it's a private network located here in the town for our use.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Rourke, did you have?
No, I have nothing. I thought that this item was not on consent, and I was going to ask to put it on consent.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Linden.
Thank you very much. Paul, what have we been using currently, and why is there a bump up of 17,400?
No, we're currently using the Palm Beach County fiber. Our current agreement is expiring, so we currently pay $17,400, and we will continue to pay $17,400 annually for the next 5 years. So there's no bump up in the rate. It's the same rate that we have been paying, and it's the same service that we'll be receiving from Palm Beach County.
The fiber is already laid down throughout the town.
Yes, sir.
Are they going to add additional fiber anywhere?
No, so the fiber is already laid throughout the town. What we're getting is the ability to use that fiber. It also covers support and maintenance. So, for instance, a few months back, there was a fiber cut over at the marina due to construction. I alerted the county, and within a few hours, they had the situation resolved, and the marina was back online within about 3 hours. So they also provide that service as part of this agreement.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
No problem. Vice Mayor?
Paul, thank you. I just want to put this on the record. By doing this, if this is approved, this will save the town money sharing this with the county, correct?
Yes, it's definitely a cost savings to the town. To go private would be at least 2 to 3 times more per year for the same service.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 390725.
Second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Next, we have item number 5, Resolution 400725, solid waste rates, fiscal year 2026 to 2028. Again, this is an item to be pulled. Commissioner Thomas, I will start the floor with you.
Okay. The reason why I pulled this is that in the report that was prepared by Rafaelis, I think it was, it stated that the sanitation rates was intended to purchase 10 trucks, okay? The 10 trucks included 3 front end loaders, 3 side loaders, 3 gravel, and I would think those are probably the clam trucks, and 1 rear loader. So my question was, how many of these trucks have been purchased thus far? My other question was, how many are we still awaiting? Then there was how many that were in back order. So we had purchased them, but we're waiting for delivery, and then there that were still like in back order. And how many are proposed in this budget year? So with those 10 trucks, or that we are supposed to be, what's the status on that? And prior to this, I know we were leasing trucks. So then it was, if we are leasing those trucks, were those trucks now able to be converted to purchase, and how would that impact us as we move, forward? So those were my questions, and just wanted to make sure I was in line with that.
So just to quickly answer the question, based on the ones that you had sent to us. So the 2 units that we have right there at the top, Those were the ones that we ordered 23, 24. So because due to the lag on accessibility of equipment, these are the ones we're expected to receive on December 25, hopefully. The 66 and 42, that they're right there present, the two in the bottom, those are as initiatives for this upcoming fiscal year 26. The single unit sheet that I just provided, those are the additional 3 units that we have that are coming to enter on 28. So those are proposed to be acquired in 28. 28. Why?
2028.
2028. And the reason why we're doing that is that we're spreading the fund so that way we can literally support bringing in the new units. So if you see, literally what we do is we take it as a loan and we finance the equipment per year and we try to pay it. So we start escalating them so that way we will have the money available as the fund, starts to be more efficient or self-efficient because due to the 2022-23 that we had to bring in a third party or a vendor to support the commercial section, that brought down the projections of the 5 years. So to make up for that gap, we took over the commercial section, and now we're trying to bring the fund back to a balance that we a positive balance, so we could be absorbent by the time of the 2028, which is the rate study.
So in essence, we should be purchasing 2 this year, and then the final 3 will come
so we got
in the 2028
So we
fiscal
got
budget.
2 are coming right now at December, which they come in fiscal year 26. For fiscal year 25, we don't have any equipment. We did order them, but we did not get them. So we're going to get them at the end of December 2025. So that is already 26, fiscal year 26. We also included in our initiative for 26 to get additional 2 units, which we expect to get by the end of September 26, right? Before the end of that fiscal year. We won't have nothing for 27, but we will require for 28 the additional 3 units that you have in the single sheet. And that's in order to offset the funds and be able to be more absorbent.
Okay, so if I'm counting,
Yes.
that still only gave us 7. So there was like 3. So where's the other 3?
So the other 3, I think that we had already acquired them.
Okay.
And we're using
You're
them.
currently using them.
Yeah,
So they
we're
were purchased like in what, 22, 23?
Yes,
Okay, and so those 3 were purchased already, and you're currently using them.
yes.
And then 2 will get the December of this year. Well, 26,
yes,
yeah. December 2025, right.
Hopefully.
It's in fiscal year 25, 26.
That's correct.
And then in fiscal year 26, 27, we're expecting to get 2.
Yes.
And then in fiscal year 27, 27, 28, we're
the other
expecting to get the remaining 3.
That's correct.
Okay, so I saw a truck on being towed away 2 months ago. What is that? Was that like a truck? Was that one of the new ones? Because I was like, what is that? I thought we were supposed to have some new trucks. What's going on?
Our trucks right now,
Yeah.
our newest trucks are literally 2019. Those
Okay.
are our most recent one. By the time that the ones that are going to be
They'll be
replaced,
old.
they'll
We'll
be
be
old
back. We'll be
already.
back trying to purchase new trucks.
Yeah, well, these are these. Those are the ones, the 29s that we currently have, 29, 28. Those are our newest ones.
Okay.
They're going to be replaced in 28, 29.
Okay.
So these are these 3s.
Okay.
The reminders that we currently have are, as you can see, they're 2015, 2017, and the oldest is 2005.
5, right. So that we're thinking would be replaced by 2028.
No, the 2025 is going to be replaced.
No,
by-
that 2005, that truck 42.
Yeah, it's going to be
That-
replaced 26, 27.
Okay.
That's the one we put right now as we're going to discuss the budget.
Yes.
We have them in the current initiative.
Yes.
Right? So we're expecting to have those, if we have the approval from the commission.
Right.
We will have those units to replace those by the end of September 2026, right?
Yes.
So that means is for fiscal year 26, we're hoping we
We'll
can,
have the funds
yes,
for your.
yes.
Okay, it will be programmed, and we
And
would
we
have.
have the units, and then we could surplus the 25, the 05, and then we get the.
Yeah. Okay. And the life on these about what, 15 years?
No. The life expectancies on these units are from 7 to 10, stretching it.
What?
Yeah.
Repeat that again.
Yeah.
7 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So like when we're at 20 years, we like that's old man, huh? It's on his last leg. Huh?
Well, we're stretching it. That's why.
Maybe that was the truck that I saw.
As I've been conveying when we meet and we have discussion, the way that we try to balance the fund, the utility fund is right now we have high costs on repairs and
Yes.
repair costs.
Yes.
As we bring new units and we're able to replace these old units,
Yes.
then yes, we have a payment that we're paying for these new units, but we're reducing the cost for repairs.
Right.
So we balance the fund right now, and
Okay.
we're more efficient.
Okay.
We don't have that much downtime.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Commissioner Linden.
With the proposed new schedule for pickup, will that extend the life of any of these vehicles?
Yes, one of the strategies is to look at what are our efficiencies in terms of collection. Some activities that we currently perform, for example, recycling, it is an action that creates a wear and tear on our units. It may come a point that we can analyze and maybe have a change in how we do our collection, so that way we could reduce the wear and tear of our equipment. For example, as a business decision, if I have to choose between doing a regular pickup with regular garbage, which is going to be the same cycle, the same route as a recycling unit, I could probably, if you see on the weekly reports that we provide the commission, the amount of tonnage that we pick up on regular garbage is 4 to 5 times what we pick up on recycling. But we still do the same action. The equipment performs the same way. So the wear and tear is there. But if I have to make a decision on which one to collect versus the quantities that we take to solid waste, then I must choose to provide the regular garbage because it's providing me a better return of investment. And we have less wear and tear because I have multiple functions of how to pick up the recycling I don't. So those little things and those little analysis that we try to do is, one is to maximize our resources in terms of available employees and available equipment, and how can we prevent that we make the best use of these equipment to prevent the wear and tear, literally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor, good? All right, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, did you have something you want to add, Town Manager? Sure.
I just wanted to mention real quick, a lot of this information that we're showing now will also be in your budget document within our new CIP. So our capital improvement plan will include our equipment purchases over a 5 and 6 year basis. So not only will we have a plan, but it'll also show you in the community what that plan is over the next number of years, so that it's not just something comes up. No, we're planning for it. We're looking to go forward and know what our purchases are over the next number of years.
And it will be available to the public on our website. Okay, thank you for providing that feedback. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I move to adopt Resolution 400725 solid waste rates for fiscal year 2026 and 2028.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, resolution passes. That's it on those 3 agenda items that were pulled. The consent was already passed. I have nothing on ordinance on first reading. However, I do have one item on ordinance on second reading, Ordinance 03-2025, creating Chapter 65 entitled Workforce Housing. And I believe we have Ms. Karen Galanka that will be coming up to the microphone, correct? All right. Ms. Galanka, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Commission. I'm Karen Galanka, planner for the town, speaking on behalf of our Community Development Department. So before you this evening is the second reading of ordinance number 3-2025, which would establish a new chapter, 65, workforce housing within the Town of Lake Park's Code of Ordinances. The proposed ordinance was approved on first reading on June 18th by 4-1 vote. The Community Development Department is recommending the Town Commission, consider approving the ordinance on second reading this evening. We've provided you responses to questions that arose at the first hearing. Those questions are contained and answers are contained in the ARF and also on page 1 of the staff report, which I think maybe 342 in your package. I won't go over each of those unless you have a specific follow-up question to those responses or you desire me to do that. I did want to highlight one change to the ordinance since first reading. And that change has to do with section 65-5. That was one of the new responses that was in the ARF on those pages I just mentioned or on page 1 of the staff report. The Live Local Act requires that for any Live Local project, the municipality must use regulations from districts that permit multifamily housing. Therefore, on first reading, the ordinance initially referenced using the C3, which is Twin Cities mixed-use district for the Live Local Act projects. There was a concern expressed by the Commission regarding whether there were sufficient architectural regulations in the ordinance as we proposed it, so staff reevaluated the available districts to use and have proposed modifications. These modifications are in the ordinance as before you this evening. Okay, so the first change is that in any commercial district, the ordinance would now require use of the PADD regulations. And for any Live Local project in industrial districts or on church property, the ordinance now would require use of the mixed-use traditional neighborhood district. And the reason for the changes is we believe that those two districts more specifically define some of the architectural characteristics that are needed. And as an example, we did list some of those in the staff report. The mixed-use TND district is something that is only in one area currently, and that was developed to promote new development in the western extension of the town. And what we found was that it provides much greater specificity for apartment buildings. And that is, that's what a Live Local Act would have. Just to sort of summarize, so as we said at the last meeting, this town currently has no regulations pertaining to workforce housing. And as the town attorney had indicated, the ordinance will provide regulations under which the town would process should we get any workforce housing project or a project under the Live Local Act. And while the state has preempted local control in many areas, this ordinance will provide some measure of authority for the town. And I just wanted to emphasize that within the town, a Live Local Act project could utilize the highest base height within 1 mile in the town. And depending on the location, the maximum height would be either 12 stories or 15 stories. And we went over that last time. The highest available density available in the town it's 48 units an acre. It's currently in 3 zoning districts. That would be the density with no bonus. And those two provisions regarding height and density are mandated by the state. We have no option. We may not like it, but right now we have no option. However, the project would adhere to additional criteria that's set forth in the proposed ordinance and the town code that exists currently. It would include such things as the income that's in the proposed ordinance and the regulations of those districts that I spoke of, from the PADD or the mixed-use traditional district, including buffers, open space, design. It would include our regular parking requirements, landscaping, anything else in the code to ensure that there's consistency within the area and good design and compliance with the comprehensive plan. And that may ultimately affect the actual density and height of a final project. 48 units an acre, for example, doesn't need 15 stories. It doesn't even need 12. So that the fact that we do not allow any bonuses and that the state made it very clear 2 years ago when they amended it that we had that option. The bonuses were not specifically a given. So the town has made it very clear in the ordinance, no height bonuses, no density bonuses. So we work with the base. So with that, I'll answer any questions or go back over any materials from the last meeting if you desire. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Glonka. I will entertain any questions. Commissioner Linden.
Thank you. Well, I'm always glad to hear that no bonuses would be included because that should restrict some of the height. Have we, and this may be a better question for the attorney or the town manager, have we ever thought of approaching the state because of our size to be exempt from this? Because we lose money.
Well, there are many small towns in the state that are in the same position we are, that's small. The regulations that we set forth does not make it easy for someone to come in with a Live Local Act project, unless they can satisfy everything that we have in here, and there's quite a bit.
So the answer is no, we haven't thought about approaching the state. This is a law of general applicability. It doesn't have an opt-out provision.
Correct.
And the town, like all other local governments, is required to follow the law.
Okay.
Also, make sure your mic's on.
And, you know, to kind of dovetail what the attorney's talking about, we do, although we don't make a formal request through a change in legislation, we do advocate changes and supporting our needs with regards to these types of laws every year. Ellen Bognoff supports us with that. When we were up in Tallahassee, we request that as part of the policy committee meetings with the League of Cities. We advocate for, you know, support of legislation that helps us and benefits us. As the attorney mentioned, these are laws that are general to all communities, and I can assure you that big and small, we're all concerned about, you know, the impacts to it. And we'll continue doing that this upcoming year as well and advocating for and against these types of issues. But I can tell you that there's a lot of support at the legislative level for these kinds of changes, and more drastic than what you're seeing now. There were many bills this year that we dealt with that did not go through, but would have been much more significant and impactful to our community. Fortunately, they didn't pass.
All right, thank you both. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody on this end? No questions? Commissioner Thomas?
I just want to say thank you. I did have questions on this, but I presented it directly to staff. Just so that it's on the record, so that you know what the questions that I had on it was, one, whether or not the Live Local Act would, what would be the maximum height, for it. And I got back what Ms. Galunkas actually stated, that it would be related to what was within a 1 mile radius of that. The other one was, would the developer be guaranteed the 48 dwelling units an acre? And again, I thought about, well, we do have land development regulations that would also determine how much would actually go on the parcel, whether or not they would be able to get the full density that's there. So those questions were raised by staff. Staff clarified that and also presented that tonight. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I just want to say that probably it's a town manager, town attorney question too. We are bound pretty much by Live Local. What this is doing is putting us a law and protection for our town in, correct?
It does two things. One, it protects the town to the extent the town can be protected. But the second thing that it does is it distributes through income categories, the units that would have to be constructed as part of a Live Local practice or project. What I mean by that is when developers come to a jurisdiction under this act, without regulations like this, they typically want to build at the moderate income level, which is very close to market rate rents. So when that occurs, you're closing out opportunities for many families who actually may need affordable housing that do not have the income that would be necessary to purchase at the moderate level. So this is a innovative ordinance to the extent that it requires developers to take into consideration all of the different income classes in the town.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions myself. Thank you again for that presentation. And at this point, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 2025 on second reading and final reading, which includes changes recommended by staff to create a new Chapter 65 workforce housing within the Town of Lake Park Code of Ordinances.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner
I just
O'Rourke.
want to read into the record one of the staff recommendations. They have two staff recommendations that were not included in the first reading, and I think it should be put on the record. The Live Local projects in industrial districts that would include any church property shall follow the regulations of the mixed-use traditional neighborhood district. And the second staff proposal that is included is that the Live Local Act projects in commercial districts shall follow the PADD regulations. And I'm guessing if that project is within that PADD.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ordinance passes. Town Attorney?
Ordinance 3, 2025, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Lake Park, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Lake Park, Florida by creating Chapter 65 to be entitled Workforce Housing, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you for that. Next we have under new business, we have two items. The first item is setting the current year proposed millage rate and restating the date, time, and location for the first public budget hearing. Just so we understand, we are setting the highest that the millage rate will be, and that will be set by this vote today. and staff has made a recommendation, and I will move this over to Ms. Barbara.
Good evening, Barbara Gould, Finance Director. We are proposing at this point to set a tentative proposed millage rate of 5.1 mils, which is the current rate. In the future, before the budget is approved, you will have the opportunity to revisit that and lower it if you're so inclined, but you may not raise it. So it's important to make sure we are moving forward at an appropriate rate, and it does still give you the room to move.
Okay, so just to restate the point, 5.1 will be the highest that we can set the millage rate to. It won't go no higher than that, but we can, however, lower it at any point
Correct.
if we do so. Okay? Any questions?
And
Or
Mr.
actually,
Mayor,
town manager.
Just real quick, just to restate it, that's your current millage rate today. So we are recommending that you do not set it above that. You set the cap at the current rate, and we build the budget off of that. And if there are any changes, we can work off of any changes. But the changes can only go lower. They cannot go higher.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we set the current proposed millage rate at 5.1 mils, and that we are restating that the date, time, and place for the first public budget hearing is set for September 8th, 2025 at 6:30 here in the Town Commission chambers.
Thank you for that. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. You're too slow, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Linden got you. Just kidding. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes. Okay. Next, we have Town Commission priorities for fiscal year 2026 budget. I will start this off with you, Town Manager. I think we have Ms. Gold again.
Yes?
Okay, Ms. Gold, the floor is yours.
All right, so we originally asked for priorities some time ago. We received those priorities, we summarized them, and they were up for discussion on the last meeting, but they were set aside and brought forward with the direction that we list them all and let you vote. So we have received the votes back. We will move forward with those items that are a majority vote. So many were 4-1, and others were 3-2.
So I think at this point, with the ones that are 4-1, we don't really need to discuss. They're pretty much clear on direction of those, but there are some viable that are like 3-2. So if there's any questions on those that you wish to kind of ask on those or anything like that, we'll go ahead and do so with that.
Mayor, may I make a comment on what you just said?
Commissioner O'Rourke.
Thank you. The votes that are 4-1, the one is me.
Okay.
And I particularly, I didn't vote, and that's why I'm in the one column. I don't think this is an effective way of doing the budget, and I'm not in favor of this proposal where you throw out a bunch of stuff and then we're going to vote on it. I would prefer if the process in the future, and I'm just suggesting this is just my view,
Okay.
that if we take each department and puts in each department what each department's priorities, that's how we used to do it in the past. I preferred that method than just throwing a bunch of stuff out there. So that's why I didn't participate, and I didn't vote on any of them. So that's where some of those numbers come from.
Okay. Commissioner Linden.
Oh, thank you. I totally support Commissioner O'Rourke. As I looked through these and I looked at the final numbers, there was some 3-2s that were close. And I remember voting on some, but others as I went back. So I'd like to maybe take a different look and a different approach at these.
Now, just to go off that, are we looking to do this, we're suggesting this for the next cycle, or as it stands currently?
This,
As it stands currently is what I'm asking.
I'm not suggesting next cycle. I'll live with this.
Okay.
But because we have to move our process forward. That's my perspective. So.
Okay.
Are these?
But that's just my view.
Go ahead.
Are
Vice
these?
Mayor.
I understand what both Commissioner Linden and Mr. Commissioner Rook saying is, but are these commissioner priorities? They're not departments. We haven't got to the departments yet. These are just our priorities here.
Go ahead.
Right,
Tom,
right. That's exactly. Being new, this is my first budget with you all, trying to understand what your priorities are. Well, one of the directives that came to me when I was hired was, let's have a better budget process than we had, especially what we did last year. So one of the things that we were trying to do was eliminate the changes or the significant changes that were happening after the budget was already presented. We would have one-on-one meetings, and we would have the meeting where you all evaluated the budget as well. And so what we were doing was we were always presenting our priorities, the staff's priorities, and that will be presented. These are the priorities that normally get brought up during the one-on-one meetings where, can we add this? Maybe we can look at this. So we will still present our priorities, and those are being built in. Instead of doing it after the workshop and then redoing the budget and then kind of amending it multiple times, what we're trying to do is get ahead of that, ask you guys, what do you think you want to see in there so that we can build it in, or at least say, hey, these are the things that we can afford, these are the things we can't, so that way we can have a smoother process after the workshop or when we do finally present the budget to you. So again, we will incorporate all of the issues that staff feel are important. This was, again, just a way to try and make it a little bit smoother so that we didn't have so many changes, because what happens is after the one-on-ones, we're spending a tremendous amount of extra time rebuilding the budget, trying to figure out what can fit, what can't. And so what we're trying to do is expend our time in a more productive manner by asking you guys up front and then coming back to you and saying, okay, these are 6 that we can add in. Here's 2 more. Do you want us to do you want us to try and get those in? But we wanted to have that understanding of what your individual priorities were and have consensus of it before we built our final budget.
Okay, thank you for that
You're welcome.
clarification. And I'm pretty sure that Commissioner Linden?
Well, if we're going to go this route, there's 2 that jump out at me immediately that I think need addressed. One would be traffic calming. We hear constantly about the speeding and so forth. Pick a street, it doesn't matter. And if I follow this chart correctly, that will not be discussed in this budget. The other one was lighting, which failed 2 to 3. We need lights in this town. And if we're not going to talk about it during the budget, when are we going to talk about it? I mean, we can beat our ears up here to death, but if we need funding for that, so again, there's some that I just feel.
The intent was this is the exact time to talk about it and do that. That's what we were trying to do. So rather wait, because if we built the budget and we didn't include it and you guys spoke about it, then we would be pulling something else out. So that's why we wanted to have the conversation now about what you guys wanted in there today. So if it's a 3-2 vote, the intent was, or 2-3, let's talk about it now. And, if you guys determine that that's the majority, then at least that gives us direction. Because if we start building a budget and start adding these in, and then it comes out, and then we're adding, and and that's one of the reasons why our budget process kind of goes astray a little bit, because we're trying to figure out all the time what we want in there and what we can put in there and what you guys want. So we were looking just for that clarification and direction tonight.
Vice Mayor.
You still talking?
No, go ahead.
So I have a question for the town manager. So we're just discussing this tonight. All this we're discussing, what we would like to see in the budget. That way we don't have to have 3 personal individual meetings like we did last year and get 3 copies of about 400 pages delivered to our house every time, where we could just go ahead and do this, see what we want, come up with a consensus, and then figure out a budget, correct?
Yes, sir. It's to try and save time and get that consensus up front rather than individually or at multiple different meetings. So that's all we were trying to do, is just trying to be more helpful and make it more. But this is a time exactly to talk about the issues where, you know, if there's an opportunity to get that direction, that's what we're hoping to do.
Commissioner Linden, you have more to add?
Well, no, I'm good for now. How are we going to proceed then?
The intent was the ones that were 4-1, and understand, and I've spoken to the commissioner, and there's many of the things that he's talked to me about that
I would have voted in favor.
Probably would have been
Yes,
5-0.
exactly.
So the intent is the ones that are 4-1, which those are the ones that there's majority support, more than majority support to go forward. It's the ones that were 3-2, the ones that were 1-4. Clearly, there's probably more of a direction not to go forward with those. So it's really those 3-2 that we wanted to have a conversation tonight about, because you've given us a direction on the other ones at 4-1 or 1-4 the other way.
Okay.
Commissioner Thomas.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. Commissioner Linden did make a valid point here in regards to the lighting. So and this was not very clear when we talked about lighting, because we had 2 presentations by FPL, okay, that stated that there were some that were already going to be paid for because they were just going to be replacing the lights, right? And I believe there was probably maybe another, I don't even want to say the number. I think it was maybe over 200 additional poles or something like that were going to be coming forth, right? So I will say that when lighting came on this, I was a little confused because I didn't know what this lighting actually meant, right? Because we had already had the discussion on the FPL lighting and areas that were going to be looked at. And so I think I just either left it blank or just said no, because in my mind, that was already an agended item on what was going to be, done. So I'd like to get a better understanding of when we talk about lighting, and there is a map that's online about what's going to be coming forth, because some were replacement poles, some were that we needed to have new poles, and then there were some that were all 3. So as a result of that, I was like, I was a little shocked. I don't know what to do. I didn't know where we were going to go with that, okay?
And some of the items that we tried not to change it too much from what was presented to us.
Right.
So some of it may look a little bit ambiguous.
Yes.
But the intent is to go forward with the FPL program.
Okay.
That were presented.
Right.
We are still waiting, and Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, we're waiting on the second phase. We still have not received those numbers. The likelihood is that will not be included, I think, in this year's budget. That'll be in the next year's budget.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I think, was more of on top of that. Are we looking, are you supportive of anything more than what we already know that we're going forward with?
So that was the clarity that I was sort of like looking for, because when I saw lighting, I was like, wait a minute, we've already discussed this. We know where this is going. We sort of like had given an avenue for how that was going to get paid for based on where they were going to go. And I think that was going to be the next thing. I don't want to use the word workshop, but I think the idea was to figure out where was the greatest need, or have areas in the community determine where they wanted it.
So no, the study is already performed and they
Right.
have identified those areas.
Yes.
So right now what we're doing is we're working on the first phase. Remember the first phase had a sub-phase,
Correct.
which was those 10 poles on Silver Beach.
Yes.
But the main first phase is the 154 units that are going to be upgraded at no cost.
Right.
The second phase is approximately 364 units
Yes.
that have been already identified, areas and everything, but that one will require infrastructure, whether it is pole, conduits, and such. That's the portion. Then we, as a town, when we get the number from FPL,
Yes.
we have to identify on our end our contribution to the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to ask you then, Town Manager, is that something that we should have on this list now, or should we wait till we get that from FPL?
We're going to have to wait till we hear from FPL on a cost.
Okay.
And that will ultimately be in your CIP when we do hear about that number.
Okay.
So again, this was, do we want to add more dollars to a program that we know that we already have something? Do we want to just be looking at additional dollars, or do we want to see where we're going on the program, on the track that we're already going?
Okay. Then
That
there,
would be our recommendation, but we wanted to put it out there.
then there was also what Commissioner O'Rourke stated, department priorities, okay? I understood, or my background in understanding department priorities was more or less along the lines of capital improvement projects, okay? That each department, with the exception, I think, of Parks and Recreation, okay? Yeah, were capital improvement projects that you had already made mention of that you were going to be bringing, i.e. some of the things, too, that were related to Jamie and road improvements and truck purchases were all part of that CIP that I figured that we would see when you brought that to us. So in my mind, those were department priorities, you know? That was my thoughts on it.
And that's exactly what will be, that is already built into our budget. But again, some of these were suggested when we asked you all for your priorities. Some of these things were included.
Right.
So we did not want to,
I guess,
just take something off, even though, as I've mentioned, we have a plan to already incorporate, for example, traffic calming out of the general fund side and mobility fund,
Right.
expenditures, as well as on the CRA side. But it came to us as a priority, so we wanted to incorporate that in to what you guys were looking at. We didn't want to take something away that someone had recommended.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that we still weren't going to recommend it
Right.
or prioritize it.
Because I would like to say, I like this format, you know. This is only, I think, my second budget, but from what my understanding is, as far as capital improvement projects and those projects that related to what did we want to provide to the community that was outside of capital improvement is what I kind of like saw that, you know.
That's
I saw
generally what we got and what we received.
Okay.
Exactly. But there were some that were,
They were on both sides of that. So I do understand it, yes. So with that being said, are we taking lighting out of this? Because in this case, lighting is the FPL poles, or are we keeping it there? Because I do have some concerns for lighting, and the only reason why I did not was because it was just way too confusing here.
Vice Mayor.
You could take lighting out because that was my priority. I just want to make sure it doesn't get looked over. Please take it out.
Okay.
All right, just don't look over it.
Take it out, but
Yeah.
go forward with
Go
the
for it,
FPL plan.
please, yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that's our recommendation too.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Okay.
thank you, Vice Mayor.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
If you look at, there's two of these documents, the proposal documents. If you look at the second one of the proposed documents done by special events, that's a department proposal. And that makes much more sense to me. It spells things out in a better way. And to me, it was clearer understanding this one than it was understanding the other ones with the proposals because of the very things we were talking about. And I'm just suggesting that, you know, as we go forward, maybe we can put out the department proposals, because my perspective is that, my view is that you're the manager. That's your job. I'm here to help set the policy to make your job happen better.
Thank you.
That's what I think we're all here for.
That's correct.
And to make our town better. I'm uncomfortable saying, for example, oh, I want one thing over another if Jamie, for example, says, well, this is something we really need. And I told you what my priorities were. I had specific priorities that I told him in the meeting that are important to me. I'm concerned with our equipment and the things that we addressed tonight, which was good. So I was glad that when we had that meeting, we were able to talk about that. But that's the approach that made more sense to me, to have the department heads come in and tell us these are the things that we really need. Because we don't know that. We're not the management.
And that's a way that I'm used to doing it, but I also there have been expressions to me of different events or different things.
Right.
So that's why we wanted to bring it and just get consensus.
You're basically just outlining those first,
so
that way we have those set, so there's no outliers coming at you once we do, like, say, for instance, we do one-on-ones and we talk departmental
that's right.
stuff.
And being a new commission, we wanted to make sure that there was unity in what we were presenting in our budget. So again, being new, this allows me to kind of get a better idea of where we are and there have been some ideas that have been expressed, with we want to maybe change some events or look at some different ways of doing them. So we wanted to get that dialogue or that direction from you tonight, so we knew how to price those out and understand what those costs were, or not even do them.
And in either case, even if you have these votes, you still have to go into the budget to see if you even have the funding.
We're going to come back to you if we can't afford to do all these. We're gonna probably see to the point of Commissioner O'Rourke. We're gonna make recommendations based on, we think this one's more viable than this one, right. And if you guys say different, then we'll change it, of course.
And that's why I understand to the effect of this. This is basically a wish list. This is not a set list saying this is what we want.
Understood.
Until you look at the funding of what we have.
And we still don't even know all of our revenues yet. We won't
Correct.
get a lot of those until a certain, so there might be things, 80% of this, we may come back to you and say, we can't do.
Correct.
But our goal is to try and.
Because I kind of based my vote on it. I'm looking at the dollars and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of big numbers here. So I'm like, maybe not.
Well, I will tell you, the reason why most of Riuniti is very organized and very, but a lot of these things are she's already planning to incorporate in, but we wanted to make sure, again, that this is the direction of our commission, being a new commission, that this is where we want to go. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're looking at doing it this way too. Okay. So that's why you have some of them that do have numbers, and the ones that you guys presented were more the ones we didn't want to start spending all the time figuring out what the costs were until we knew the direction of where you wanted to go.
Okay, Commissioner O'Rourke, you had something.
Yes, thank you. So if this is a wish list, I don't see on there something that I've brought up a couple of meetings ago. And that is that everyone in this town has received a raise over, except the commission, for the last probably 20 years.
I didn't know about this one, so sorry.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned, but I would say I agree, but because we were already, and I hear you, O'Rourke, when your comment was made at that meeting, this was already on the table, i.e. we had already made a request for those initiatives. And so as a result of that, I'm in the boat with you, but I didn't figure that was going to be this year since this was already here, you know? So that was, those were my thoughts on it, on that. Not that it wasn't warranted, but because it wasn't presented when the manager had made requests for us to provide that list. That wasn't in here. That's the only reason why I didn't move forward with that.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
So we're like on 3 items already on the list. Like, it's basically we're discussing it. So we get actually to communicate with each other for the first time. That's one reason I like this process. So if we want to, I mean, we can kind of pick some items to kind of discuss and see if
Well, right now, really,
know.
we're looking at all the 3-2 items or the 2-3 items, seeing, are you okay with it? Like, for instance, you have this 2-3 for a Christmas trolley tour that was voted against, majority.
It doesn't mean it's going in the budget, correct?
It doesn't, correct. It just
the-
means that it was not favorable to us to have.
For the first time and forever, I get to talk to you guys.
Correct. So, again,
Actually, I think that was okay in the special events budget, but was not to expand it throughout. That's what I think.
well, traditionally,
it wasn't put in
what
there.
special events would do is they get a fire truck. Santa would be on the top of the fire truck as well as the rest of us commission that wish to participate.
Yes.
I think the trolley
Oh, I see.
was
Something
something that
different.
occurred one year because we're not able to obtain the fire truck. So we did something different where we got the trolley.
Yes.
We also had Santa that
there's
was
where
in a vehicle with the sheriff.
Yes.
And we rode the town that way. So that's something that brought the idea. Do we still want to go back to that or stay in the traditional format?
Yeah.
And he goes
Yes.
back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And then, of course, the golf cart thing, I already got an understanding on that. So those were the reasons why, for individuals that are up here, the reason why I was, I kind of shied away from it. I would like to say, though, special events, having them listed, have always been a priority from this commission. And as a result of that, I believe that is why special events sent this out to say, here, the majority of what you do are priorities that I end up having to implement and wanting to know, are you willing to move forward with all of these priorities that you have agreed to in the past? Therefore, that's why it's here, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good.
I
See,
mean, I'm looking at the special events. I almost feel like we don't even need to harp on it because there was only 3 that were close calls, and the majority was voted in favor. So at this point, it almost feels
again,
like everything was saying, yes, we want all of it. But again, you're going to have to go back, look at the budget, and be realistic as to what events can we do and what can't we do based on the amount of budget funding that we have from the revenue that we're familiar with once we receive
And just to kind of dovetail on that, there's, when we talk about code compliance or code enforcement training, those are things we're going to do as part of our personnel and our operating budgets. We're going to advocate for training. So those were things, again, that were presented to us, but those are things that staff feels very important that we need to always enhance our training and we need to always, create always the opportunity for more professionalism throughout all of our departments and be able to be better customer service oriented. So where it's a 3-2 there, we would recommend that we go forward with that because, again, we only get better with training. And if we don't do training, then we kind of stand where we are.
And again, on the initiative side, which is the blue section, I see some of these code enforcement training was in favor, even though it was 3-2. Proposed project signage, which I'm actually happy that was in favor for 3-2 because that helps the public understand what's happening in target areas if there's any projects coming up, so they're aware.
And we're developing a policy with, Nadia's been working on that for noticing, public notice. I know that's been something that Commissioner Thomas has talked about, and so we're looking at different tiers based on projects, size, and different things like that using other communities, and so we'll be, if it's a large project, we would notify the entire community, having on-site signage, noticing of different meetings, so we're looking at that already, and we have been looking at a policy and doing that.
Vice Mayor, you had something?
No, I was going to say a 3-2 could have easily been a 4-1.
That's correct.
Correct. So I would almost say, I don't think we need to, at least I'm speaking as one, I don't think we need to dive into it a whole lot on the 3.2s. But if there's anything you specifically, individually see anything on the 3.2s you want to bring up.
Well, the oval about has been a concern, and that is because we had gone to Tallahassee to lobby for this, okay? And it's as we have gone to Tallahassee to lobby for septic to sewer, and now I see in another agenda item that we're going to be reviewing is for that same purpose, of us trying to figure out how that's going to be done. So the oval about here or there, provided that we can get maybe a grant that would be able to, to assist us with that.
Well, we'll continue, of course, to try to obtain earmark funding.
Yeah.
There's TA funding through the TPA that we're going to look at. We're working with the county. The county has said that they would commit to 20% of that cost, which is $400,000. So we're working with them, hopefully waiting on an agreement from them. So there's a lot of dollars. There's mobility funds. As new development occurs, that will help to contribute to that. The CRA has and you'll see this in your CIP.
That's what I was going to say. That would have been that's a CIP.
Over a 2-year period.
Yes.
So again, so that is something again that was presented, but it is a priority for us, and we've talked about, in our one-on-one meetings as well, that there are different options that we're going to be presenting to you on funding, especially with the assault on CRAs, to how to fund some of these a little bit sooner than later. And I think that's going to be very, very important that we really look at that, because the longer we wait to do some of these capital improvements, it might be better to finance those up front and do those and protect our CRA and the improvements, because if we do them on an individual project basis, we may get left out depending on what the legislature does. So we have options with that we're going to be bringing to you at some point as well.
The other one on traffic calming, we were presented recently with a way to go about doing traffic calming.
Yeah.
Okay. And specifically on this particular roadway, and something like really occurred to me most recently is this: when the project at Promenade is completed, there are 4 exit points to it, right? And then I thought to myself, with that being 4 exit point, with also the possibility of there being a 5th exit point that may at some point come out of Crescent Drive, because there's that opening that and I'm just thinking back how much impact that would have on that roadway. However, north of that roadway is a town alley that recently got repaved. We have never really discussed what could be done in that alley that's north of this particular roadway. And I could only see that in the future, in order to get, which would be the most safest place to get to the traffic light at Jasmine, would be that many people would probably use Teak. But what would happen if the traffic was detoured, to say here, a better way to utilize, and I would say because of the impact that we're going to have with traffic, to use the alleyway. This is just something that has just come up, to use the alleyway, because it would be safer to do that and get to Jasmine's light, which then may negate the need to have that traffic calming on that particular road, because we know, I'm on a same situation like that where it's straight through and there's no stop sign, and this one is pretty short too, but there's no other intersection or perpendicular intersection where you would put a stop sign, whereby on the road that I'm talking about, Second, they're at least intersecting or perpendicular, roadways where you can put stop signs there to try to slow it. But if they're going along Second from Palmetto to Park Avenue, that's a straight through. There's not much in the way that you could do there. But I was thinking with TEAC, the traffic calming, maybe we as a town could look at what could we utilize the alleyway to the north of that, since it's underutilized, right? And it may in some way be a really good diverter for individuals who would normally take Crescent and then try and cross over cross over North Lake to go east. No, to go west, sorry. Yeah, to go west. The east isn't so bad, it's the west, that many use the Teak Street for. But the traffic calming is what I'm saying need to be looked at maybe in a bigger picture as opposed to here. Okay, then I see Mr. Morales jump up, so he must have didn't like something I said.
Good evening again. Thank you, Commissioner, for those comments. So based on what you just have mentioned and shared with us, we have made two approach to our engineering firms, and we're asking for proposals and cost estimate to exactly look at that. Instead of implementing traffic control devices just to alleviate a current situation, we want to look at it holistically. What would be the impact of introducing a traffic calming on this street? What will be the impact on the area? And what will be the impact on the entire network? So that way the engineering firm could determine the appropriate traffic control devices, the appropriate measure to be implemented. That way not only will be minimizing the risk factor of us just going out and implementing a traffic control measure, is the liability and the offset congestion that it will bring to the network. So that way we look at everything holistically and not just at a specific area.
Okay.
Mayor.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
Thank you. I just want to bring up another one of these items that I want to talk about.
Sure.
Just for a second. It says exclusive recreation events for kids and possibly adults. Before we even really decide on anything like that, I think the redevelopment of Burt Bostrom Park would be the budget item that we would have to consider even before we would look at that, because it's my understanding we're going to be redesigning the park there, and I'm concerned about that when we redesign the park, that we don't redesign it thinking about things like that, putting in special events prior to, creating a design for the park. Now, the design for the park is going to cost money, so those are going to be budget items. This, I think it may be a little bit early for us to consider something like that.
I can actually answer that one, because this was actually one I put in.
And I'm in favor of this,
No,
too,
I
so.
know you are. I know you are. The reason why I put this in, and I was thinking along those lines that you're thinking, is what sport can you play that doesn't require major change? So putting on the recreation hat that as I know, soccer is something that you don't need to alter anything physically, building-wise at all, but we're not talking a major like 11-on-11 soccer. Micro soccer is actually like 4-on-4. You get little the pugs that you buy that you can put that down and you take apart, easily set it up. The kids are there. We line the field. They play. They go home. That's it. No big cost.
Most soccer players don't even need lines.
Correct. Most soccer players don't need lines.
We play in retention ponds.
So that can be played.
We're doing
that can actually be played as far as
the ball comes back to you.
Correct.
That's exactly.
Correct. No. That can be played as far as kids and adults. Adults with the kickball would work perfectly here, I think, because we have businesses in the downtown area. In Gardens, they do that. They have a kickball league. They associate with a local business. That's the tie. That's the culture. We have local businesses here in the downtown CRA that's looking for attention with the adults that can bring them to our fields. one night exclusive to the local business. They come here, they play, and then they go frequent in our local businesses. Win-win. Win for us, recreation, win for the businesses with attention. That's what I was seeing here. And then the flag football, again, another sport that doesn't require a lot of funding. All you need is a ball, a field, a line, and some players, and you're good to go. So that's just my approach. I just want to explain that to you, just to give you that understanding. Again, it doesn't alter the sense of the plan, the overall big picture plan, but it gives us something, because this town really doesn't have stuff that we say is exclusive to us. And therein lies the big picture problem. That's
true.
And if we have something that can marry three things: our business community, our residents, and then us as a town promoting an event that's exclusive, there's no losers in that. So I'll leave
Mr.
it at
Mayor,
that.
can I also mention that not only will we evaluate these based on whether the cost is available to us, but also we do have a limited staff, so we'll be looking at it based on the availability for us to be able to do that as well.
Correct. And also,
So I just wanted to make sure that, I'm sure Ianni's thinking about that and saying, you know, probably can't do all of these events.
He's not that busy.
So I wanted just to say that would be part of our evaluation process as well. So.
And also in these sports I've mentioned in particular, you can also recommend public participation to help. Because, like, for instance, with the kids' sports, the parents are more than willing to help, especially when they don't have to drive cross town to do their events and have their kids frequent and play a sport. So trust me, you put something there, the parents will come help, as long as they have a little bit of help. So, again, I leave the floor to you guys. Do you see anything, Commissioner Linden, that you'd like to bring back up?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything on there.
Make sure the mic's on you. Yeah,
No, thank you. It looks like we pretty much beat up everything on that page. So.
Okay. Okay, so again.
Oh, wait.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Rianiti, my apologies. Go ahead. No, I wasn't going to go into anything else.
Okay.
I was just talking more.
Just a quick question about the MLK event, and I know that the vice mayor is not here, and I know it's one of his priorities.
Okay.
So this year's event was planned to be in Kelsey Park. We were going to have the band and the vendors, and we were going to have the mural and the exhibit.
Don't say anything? Just wait?
Maybe it might be
wait till he comes.
Appropriate to
Yeah.
wait.
We'll wait till he comes back.
If you have
No,
another
or we can just tell him what we decided when he gets back. You know?
Well, you know, I was absent last meeting, and decisions were made in my absence. I just want to let that be for the record.
I do.
Quiet.
We were
Stop
thinking-
talking now.
Yeah, we voted him in to do something. Yeah, it's all messed up now.
I just want to make that comment clear on the record.
Jeez, that was good.
We were
Good to
thinking
have you
about
back,
having a
Vice
Florida
Mayor.
State Day is what we were thinking about doing, and it was 4-1 vote.
Actually, Randy, you can go ahead and begin.
The MLK event. So, you know, we had our plans for this year, but then I got a phone call from a resident about the event that was planned, and she preferred to have something else in the Mirror Ballroom, a breakfast or a luncheon with guest speakers and poems and kids singing. And I did explain to her that could be possible for the next event if that is what the commission chooses.
That's our desire, right?
But that the Mirror Ballroom is limited to just 100 people.
Exactly.
We would then look to the commission for a list of people that would be invited to the event because everyone cannot come. And so I know that was previously mentioned, as well as more as a day of service event as well. And so we just kind of wanted some direction on what you would prefer to see, if you want us to continue with what we tried to do for this year that got canceled. Do you want something in the Mirror Ballroom? Would you prefer us, you know, being out on the street picking up trash?
And that's kind of tough in the Mirror Ballroom because you're constrained to how many max capacity is, and what if there's more people out there that says, hey, I want to be a part of this too.
Yeah.
So.
Another aspect of that is, I'm sorry, excuse me.
No, go ahead, Commissioner.
Another aspect of that is volunteers. When you put these programs together, it's always good to come up with an idea, but the best ideas seem to be the ones where you don't have to do any of the work, you know. And I think a lot of times, you're laughing about it because you know that's true, right? A lot of people come up with great ideas, but if it all falls on your shoulders, again, we have a staff problem trying to make all of this stuff happen. So, and I'm saying that I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm really just trying to say, folks, if you're listening, volunteer, help us out here, because we would really appreciate having your assistance in these programs like this.
I was just going to say an option could be too that you could sell tickets, you know, like if it was going to be like a breakfast or a lunch or dinner. In most cases, when it's done like that in a more formal setting, like a mirror ballroom, you know, then there's a cost, because I know I go to one every year. I mean, I shouldn't say every year. I've been to one. So if it's, you know, if it's the desire to do something along that line, and I'm not taking hold on it because that's what we're waiting for, Vice Mayor. What would be your purview on that? Would it be to continue with something that's on the outside, and if we were going to move it to the mirror ballroom, then my suggestion would be to charge for it. You know, like if you were going to have a breakfast or a luncheon or a brunch or whatever that might be, then we charge for the, you know, for the catering and the guests. And then I think it's somewhat, then I don't know if it will pay for itself depending on what that is, but then at least we're getting something for doing it in that manner.
And also, just as a sidebar, Ms. Taylor, I did not forget you. I know you have a public comment on this item.
It's almost night-night. No, I think that's actually a great idea to limit the cost and the budget amount. If we only have 100 seats or less than 100 seats, then charge or make a donation to the town or however. But it can also, you know, turn into quite the fundraiser too, also for the town, in celebrating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King too.
She just wants a direction on how would you like to handle it, I think.
Well, I think a lot was, last year it was an event from outside, and it was council, and we got dozens of calls and emails. So, and a little more after the event because we had nothing else planned for it. So I think we will, if it's going to have something outside, we probably should have an alternative due if, you know, bad weather, like some kind of plan for bad weather in there. Now, I'm not all for the ballroom thing because the limited space, but I mean, I also don't do a lot of event planning either.
I mean, we can have a rain date, it just won't be
the date of the celebration.
Correct.
Yes.
correct, because also, you know, there are other events happening around us. And so, you know, we chose that Friday because, you know, Saturday morning is the MLK parade in Riviera Beach, and, you know, there's county stuff. And so many other municipalities and other places have their own events. And so we could have a rain date, which would probably be,
I think it would have probably slowed it down a little bit if we would have participated in the parade, probably, but we didn't. As a town, we didn't do anything.
well, because you expected to, you know, hang
Yeah.
out all night on Friday and
No,
not
I'm
be able
saying-
to get up.
No, us participate in the parade,
We
but
normally do. Just last year we did. You talking about the?
yeah. So that's what was the cause that we didn't do anything. Speaking for half of the residents, on behalf of the residents, I should say.
Well, you can still participate in the Riviera Beach parade.
We can, or we can continue. I mean, we could do. I'm trying to think. I don't think it really rains in January, but it's usually cold.
I would say if we're going to move along the lines of the mirror ballroom, charge tickets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's a matter of, do you want to have a breakfast? Do you want to have a lunch? Do you want to have a dinner? What do you want? and then.
Brunch.
Huh?
Brunch.
That wasn't even in there, but he's going to give me brunch. Okay, so if it's brunch, right, then would we then, because Reuniti needs to get some direction on this tonight, correct? So you could start planning. It would be what, for 2 hours, we would get a guest speaker. It'll be, well, you know, we'll decide, I don't know what that market is, maybe $25 a ticket or something like that. And the day before or the day of would be my thoughts if, you know, if we're going to like do that. So then you're given like the direction, okay, this is how much it would cost, because I think you could still come back to us on that, right? Like this is what it would cost if we went the Mirror Ball way, you know, the Mirror Ballroom way. This is what it would cost if we just did the outdoor activity with the, you know, with the children. Is that better?
I think so. The only thought that I have about a brunch is just figuring out what day to do it. You know, we don't want to, if we interfere on that Saturday with the MLK parade in Riviera Beach, then that probably limits some of the people that you.
I definitely would not even think.
You know, and then doing it on the actual Monday holiday, you know, there's county events that normally happen then. But
I would almost say look at the week prior to that Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay.
So that we don't, so.
Because you may have people even, and I'm sorry to interrupt you again. You may even have people in other communities that may express interest because they're used to going there on Saturday, you're used to going county events, and then they hear, oh, Lake Park's got something, okay, we'll jump on that.
Last year it was on the Sunset Celebration, correct?
Right, that Friday.
So this
evening.
year it wouldn't be on the Sunset Celebration.
This coming one, yes.
Yeah. So what would the town usually do?
We didn't.
We did not.
This will be a pilot one. This will be the inaugural one.
All of the MLK stuff was usually done in the library. They would, you know, have movies and different things throughout the week.
And then we would participate with the Riviera Beach parade.
Right.
So if we were to move forward, give you some direction a week before?
No, I think I have enough now.
Okay.
I just have one more thought, and that just is the holiday celebration. Currently, it is in the CRA budget, and Allison is probably going to kick us out very soon. So we should probably just start thinking about funds for that in the general fund budget.
Is that because it cannot be used? That's why it is. Okay, so because it cannot be used, the CRA funds cannot be used for something like that any longer.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can they pay for music, ground music? Can you do that? I don't know, I'm just asking.
There are certainly ways that the CRA can participate in the event.
Yeah.
Because we will be disseminating information about the CRA.
Yeah.
It's just, we're not allowed to host the holiday event.
Yes.
So what happens with the children's music and the stage and that part of it will likely need to come from the town. What we do on top of it to help businesses, to help disseminate information about the CRA will participate. So Reuniti and I will work kind of some magic to be able to make sure that we can still participate and make the best event possible.
Okay. Okay.
One of the big expenses there
Yes,
is the
you're right.
Christmas tree.
Yeah.
The tree is different because the lights and the tree are, that is placemaking and aesthetics. So that is actually within the CRA that we're, you know, so that's different. Those are physical things that we're improving and putting into place, not the event.
What say you, town attorney?
Move to adjourn.
Jamie, I do have a question.
Second.
I do have a question, and then we have to get out of here, because I think Bud's fried fish is probably closed by now.
You got Mary's card.
No, I still have a public comment.
Good evening, Jamie Morales,
no,
Public Works.
Jamie, on the to promote Public Works Service portal, how is that being used?
Yeah, well, we have to update it. We literally have to update it, but we do have information there, but we have to update it.
What would be a good way? Because, I see here promote Public Works Service Portal. And I would imagine that's the portal to make complaints, like that's public, that's Public Works related?
Yes, so right now, we have an operational system and work and asset management system, but we want to have a venue where our citizens could go into the web page and they could introduce a service request or even create a work order, and then we could follow up.
But I thought
properly.
it was. I thought
No, we have, but it's not the most efficient. It doesn't really work in conjunction to the system that we currently have.
Okay.
So we're exploring avenues. How could we make it more efficient for our citizens to go in, identify what the issue is, and
Yeah.
then we could go directly to our system, not to a subsystem that we
Yes.
could receive an email
Yes.
and look that it could be dropped or overlooked for somebody, but
Yes.
go directly to our system.
Okay, so then here's my question then to you. Would that be a department priority? Are you looking at that? I mean, is that something that you were looking at?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that was something that you would be looking at?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And we will bring options as we further explore it.
Scratch that.
And that was, again, an item that was brought to us. We would normally want to do that anyway.
Right.
That's we want to promote more customer service
Correct.
opportunity.
That was me.
Who? What was that? Was yours?
That was mine.
Scratch. So what I was like thinking about, was like the additional signage, right? That I was referring to would be like magnets that the portal number and things like that would be on your refrigerator that you could say, so that was my position
The
on.
Q bar now, with the Q
Or
bar.
yeah, or even a QR code that sent that. So I just wanted to know. So that's more along the lines of a priority, or rather a priority for the department, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. I'm going to let Ms. Taylor, who has been so gracious to patiently wait, to speak.
Did
But
we dispense
please
of this?
come.
Are we good?
Well, there's one more area that we would like to get some clarification on with the grant, the community grants that we request. So that's one area that we do want to get some clarification on.
Go ahead.
Is that on our list?
There are different programs that have been funded as a line item that have normally been funded through the grants that we wanted to make sure we understood. Do we want to continue, funding those as line items, or do we want them, to go through the grant program?
Ms. Merrill.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Excuse me?
Good evening.
Good evening. As the town manager,
Merrill.
it's late, I'm going home.
I understand. Go ahead, please.
As the town manager mentioned, historically, we had a larger grant program, and then some things had been carved out over the last couple of years to be individual line items. Those were the Jet Set soccer program for $10,000, and then the Haitian Flag Day event. I need some direction as we move forward with this, how you would like to proceed. We also had carved out $5,000 last year for the first time for the block party.
Well, I'm under the understanding that the Haitian Flag Day event has became its own line item, nothing to do with grants no longer.
Well, but we want to see, do you want it back in? Do you want it as a line item? How do you want to do that? Same with the soccer program. Historically, the soccer program had been, going way back, it had been in the grant, but it had been funded through grants. Then it moved to the Reunities budget for $10,000. Last year, we didn't have it at all because they weren't able to make it happen. Not us, the Jet Set wasn't able to make it happen.
Understood.
So at this point, we only had $10,000 last year for the grant program. So how would you like to proceed? Commissioner Linden?
Way back when, and I'm sure you remember, Jet Set Soccer would have to come each time and request their money.
Correct.
And we decided it would be best just to give them a line item.
Correct.
I personally think that's the way to go. They get, my goodness, 100 kids, 150 kids. That's a staple here and now where kids are looking forward to it.
In fact, the person suggesting is sitting right to my right.
Yep. So I think that would just be a line item that just stays there.
Yeah.
I've got a little concern with Haitian Flag Day. We were all there. And for $10,000, I'm not sure how many residents participated in that event. Do we keep it at 10? Do we have them come back like they did before and ask for it? I just don't know. A nice event, I mean, but it doesn't seem to connect well with the community, unlike the Sunset Celebration, where you see everybody and anyone there.
I would be favor of both as a line item, and I'll leave it at that.
At what amount?
10 apiece.
And then you said the block party?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's new. And I will say that I was in the agreement to probably reduce it until it maybe picked up momentum. I think that it was a great idea for I think it's a great idea. Okay. I'm planning on doing one, and I encourage our town residents to really participate, because I will tell you that when I went around to the residents in my community, they were so excited about it. And in fact, what they stated was, are there other places in town that will be having it on the same day? And I was like, I don't know, but that's a really nice way to build community, spirit on that. Now, I think to date, maybe only 2 have really taken advantage of that. So I would say, and the budget right now is like about 5. So I would be in agreement to cut that in half, But I think that that's a really good way for any of us, and just any resident as a whole, to know that they could do that and be a part of the, community.
May I propose an alternative?
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Huh?
May I propose an alternative and let me know what you think about this?
Okay. No. What did you say?
Okay, bye.
Okay. Go ahead.
Historically, we had a small grant program and a large grant program. We had the overarching grant program, and we had a small and a large. And the small was up to $500. If we want, we could conceivably put the $5,000 back in, have the small and the large again, and that way, if there's leftover funds from what would have been the grant program, it can be used and rolled over into the large grant program, because it's just a grant program.
I will tell you that grant program, to provide all of that data, and paperwork for that, it's discouraging.
We can simplify the small grant program.
Just being able to work with staff and saying, here, this is the list, and be done with it, was so much easier than to write the whole proposal, for $500. That's my only thing about that, I kind of like the way it is, that you can go, it's there, just meet this, than to go through that whole process of writing, why do you want to do this? And it was just too much.
Well, we could combine the applications where this is for the small and this is for the large.
Okay.
These things are always fluid, but it's entirely up to you.
It can be tweaked.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say reduce it. You know what I mean? Well, anyway, you're saying the same thing.
So yeah, you're saying if they're separate entities, reduce the block party. Okay.
Okay. Is that all that you were asking for?
Unless there's any additional direction or any other initiatives for line items instead of grants.
Yes, can you get us more grant money?
No, I'm too tired.
Okay, maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Ms. Taylor, I'd like you to come up and do your public comment.
So patient. Well, she said I could have 20 seconds. She had left. I need
All right, Mary.
Right, okay. All right. Well, I looked through the list of priorities, and a few jumped out at me. One was the improvements to Blakely Park, but that's been already discussed because I went down there and it said trees and a bench, and I went down there, it's already trees and a bench, and I ran into Judith, and she explained everything, so that I'll cross that one off. The oval about for around 10th Street, I'm glad to know that that's a priority because we've invested $1 million in that coffee project, Oceana, and it's a good-looking building with lovely landscaping, but it's devalued due to the awkward street design and those ugly bollards deface the front of the building. So I hope even if you don't get the oval about, maybe there could be something that could be done to help that business the town could do. And then I looked at the big ticket item, the community center. And I checked with the residents to make sure I didn't miss a meeting or a commission vote on that. Nobody knows anything about it. The public had no idea what I was talking about, reminiscent of the most recent 16-story surprise. So I do recall funding $400,000 for a plan including accurate cost estimates. But then I recall a diverting of the grant funds to Kelsey Park for an approved water fountain type of splash pad, which I did not see on the list of priorities. Maybe it's on that, what do you call it, that other list of, I'll cut to that in a minute. But so, and at a recent commission meeting, a commissioner said that it doesn't matter how many residents show up and fill the chambers and voice their opinion because they don't have all the facts and information that the commissioner said. I disagree, but to clarify, please publish and disseminate all plans and information pertinent and cost estimates of a new community center by mail, social media, including the town website, so citizens do know the facts, so they have access to the pertinent information, not 600 pages, but just the facts. And so they would have a palatable version. And after that, they digest it, then maybe you could allow citizens, the opportunity to engage in the community center conversation and decision-making process by surveys, shared public gatherings, or a dedicated prioritized quarterly outreach meeting. Most importantly, consider residents' input before prioritizing costly new projects and have already studied and paid for projects such as the town's mobility plan, Park Avenue Road Diet, town-wide traffic calming, and lighting, holistic traffic calming in the whole town. I think you have to look at the whole thing, slow everybody down, and then they'll get the idea, hopefully. Seawalls and park improvements, which residents have been patiently waiting for years. If these are listed under capital improvements, please list for all to see. Maybe they are under capital improvements, some of these things that I'm mentioning. Or are they forgotten, gathering dust on a storage shelf, like has happened for many
Thank you,
decades?
Ms. Taylor.
Okay, one more.
One
The
more.
22nd,
Okay, go ahead with
our
the one more.
refreshed library is another treasure. When is the open house to show off the new beautiful library?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so there is no motion on this. This was just discussion as well as direction for staff. So I thank you all for giving your feedback on that, and we will move forward. So with that, that was all the agenda items for today. I will turn it over to town attorney for any attorney comments.
No comments.
No comments. Commissioner Thomas, did you have something?
I'll wait till you.
Okay. Town manager.
Just a couple quick things. Staff did hold its annual tabletop hurricane exercise about a week ago, and it was a hypothetical Category 4 hurricane forecast that made landfall in Palm Beach County. Of course, what we do with that is we bring in all the directors, we bring in a number of our staff, and we were able to also bring in other outside agencies as well to participate. And it allows us to be better prepared and ready for a storm coming in. So I really do appreciate Jamie and all of our staff in putting that together. The other thing that it does is it helps us with our FEMA CRS, or Community Rating System score, which helps to lower our property insurance tax or rates. For those that are not aware, in Lake Park, our CRS score is a Class 6, and it provides a 20% discount on not all NFIP or National Flood Insurance Program policies within our town. So these are important things that we do to help keep the costs down that people may not even have any idea about. It helps us be prepared for hurricanes, but it also helps us with other things as well. Ms. Taylor's left, but the library has reopened. We are finishing the teen and children's rooms, and our library grand reopening will be held on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. We'll have musical performance and a reception, and everyone, of course, is welcome. We'll definitely put the word out and make sure that the community is aware. Sunset celebration coming up on July 25th from 6 to 9 in Kelsey Park. Of course, live entertainment, food, art, and crafts and vendors, and everyone's welcome. It's a free event. The mayor received a proclamation request from an organization called Feeding South Florida to observe Hunger Action Month to raise awareness and fight against hunger. And I wanted to make sure you guys were good with that and bringing that forward at a future date as a proclamation.
Consensus?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Linden, you're good with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Vice Mayor? Okay, you have consensus.
I want to let you all know that I'll be out on Friday. I'll be up in Orlando at a CRA training. It'll be my final training for my administrator certification. I believe a number of y'all have gone through some of those trainings.
Yeah,
Allison's available, to help with that. So
yeah, I gotta ask her about
please
that.
let us know. There's a number of events coming up over the next year. So wanted to bring up real quickly, and I don't know if Tom, I'm sorry I didn't talk to you about it, but Senate Bill 180, our attorney is doing an analysis of what that means for us going forward. Tom, can you maybe just give a quick update on where you are with that?
Yeah, we've actually, I chair the land use practice group in our firm, and so we met last week, and I made assignments to Brett and some of the other attorneys. So we've put together a memo. Senate Bill 180 is a large, wide-ranging bill, and it's a lot of the criticism or comments you hear on it are that you can't make changes to your land development regulations or comprehensive plans. That's not exactly correct. You can make those changes. It does provide an avenue for individual property owners who believe those changes are a burden on them to challenge it. At any rate, the memo should be coming out next week, maybe the end of this week, to all of our town managers in our 4 cities, and I'm sure it'll run uphill from there. But after you receive it, if you have questions, there's a lot of things in there that staff has to do according to that bill. So what we have put together or are putting together is a checklist of things so that staff can take that checklist and say, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that.
So until we know, more about where we can go, there are going to be some issues, of course, the PADD and some other things that we're kind of, going a little bit slower on until we know really where we are in it. And so as we know more, we'll go ahead and keep you all in the loop. And of course, as we schedule things, we'll keep the community in the loop on those, particularly the PADD. Before I forget, I did want to say Bambi also was involved quite a bit with the hurricane exercise, so I'm sorry if I missed that. I apologize. And then one other thing I did want to mention, and I'm sorry if they get embarrassed or maybe didn't want me to say anything, but a few weeks ago we were at a league meeting, and I happened to be online with the vice mayor, and we were at the end of the line, getting our lunch, and I just wanted to make sure you all were aware, and the community was aware. But we happened to see one of your colleagues, another elected official from another community, and she was having a health issue. And our vice mayor couldn't get there quick enough, to help, and maybe even save that person's life. And I just wanted to say, you just showed incredible leadership and compassion, and just, and I know you've told me stories that you've had to do that once before, and it kind of, created, you got, some issues from it, but that didn't even cross your mind. It was, I'm going to do the right thing, and it was pretty amazing to watch how you handled it. And I just want to say thanks, and how you represent our town there, and how you helped that commissioner. I appreciated it.
Stay alive.
So again, sorry if you didn't want me to say anything, but I appreciated it, and just wanted you all to know. So thank you all.
Very well. Very well.
Congratulations. Nicely done.
Anything else? Okay, Commissioner comments. I will start here with Commissioner O'Rourke.
Yes, I want to. Today we started the budget process, and I want to thank Barbara Gold for her work and her efforts in preparing this, and I also want to give her my condolences for the rest of the process that's going to take place. Thank you.
Very well. Very well said. Very well said. Very well said. Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, Commissioner O'Rourke, I'm going to follow that up. That's true, because we only had, since the last budget hearing, we actually got rid of, a director, right, in finance.
No, they resigned.
Well, okay, so we got rid of them, but it came as a resignation, and then the one before that.
To be honest, we solved the problem because the last two directors were named Jeff. Her name is Barbara. We got a 50% chance of retaining it, so we're good.
So I just wanted to say, true, we're doing our Hail Marys, okay, for you, and our prayers, okay, so for sure. And I would say that Barbara's been here for a long time, so she probably understands us rather well. So good luck, Barbara. Okay. With that being said, the only thing that I really want to say is that now that we're looking at priorities for both commission and also for staff, we now should put into mind that after our budget hearing, we should now bring back maybe our first meeting in October now what our priorities would be for our town manager, because that now would require, we now have a better focus on what we'll be looking for from our, from our town manager. So I would suggest that after a budget hearing, October, maybe the first meeting in October somewhere, then we could start putting a framework towards what we would be looking at our, evaluation for our town manager on that part.
Well
That's
said.
it.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Linden.
Thank you. Is October 1st too late to follow up with Commissioner Thomas said about the priorities for the budget?
No, I think she's talking about the priorities with regard to what the town manager is achieving, how he's performing. Right. It's an analysis of his performance.
That would gauge, okay, I want to just clarify this. What had happened before, right, was the fact that we needed 180 days to come up with priorities of what we would be evaluating our town manager on, okay? Now, we have come up with priorities for what we would like to see in the coming fiscal year. This will give us an opportunity now, since we have identified priorities, when we have adopted our budget, which we have to have adopted by the 30th of September. October now would then begin that cycle of, okay, fine, these are the things now we would like to evaluate you on, and each of us will then be able to look at that.
Okay, got it now, got it straight. Okay, clarification, I got an email for a proclamation also. Was that for Feeding South Florida?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, that's all. And we're not meeting next week, on Friday, Monday or Tuesday, or we're putting that off, because we originally tentative that Monday, so that's off, okay? And ironically enough, I was listening, but I don't know if we got clarification for a budget item for a pay increase for the commissioners.
Not in this budget.
Why wouldn't it be this budget?
Well, the question was, and that was what the conversation that I was having over here with Commissioner Rourke, that wasn't one of the priorities that we had put on the request line when the town manager had requested that we provide priorities for the upcoming year. That wasn't one of the priorities. It was mentioned after that list was presented. So if you're now asking for us to go back and make that a priority, then we would have to get the consensus from the commission to go forth with that.
Well, I'd like to move forward.
I consent.
You consent.
Okay, so we have two, because I'm hearing that now.
I agree with you. I don't understand why this can't be brought up. Again, as I said, the staff got increases, and deservedly so. I sat through that for 10 years of process that happened. And I'm sure the increase we would be talking about is a minimal amount anyway.
Say the amount, so because they need to know. So, if we're going to bring it up, we need to say, okay, are we looking at 100,000? Are we looking at 10?
Currently, the mayor makes $10,000 a year. And just in case you don't realize that, that's less than minimum wage if we do it hourly, okay? The commissioners get $9,500. And look, it's not about the money. It's about a situation where there's a certain attractiveness to what we do. And a lot of the times, I'm banging my head against the wall on topics that I read page after page of notes, and I wonder, why am I doing this? I'm having my personal life affected because of this, and I think that we deserve a little more. And when I say a little more, I'll give you a number. I think the mayor should make 15, and that the commissioners should make 12. That's my suggestion.
And I disagree with that.
Okay.
Based on the number of years, again, I'm going on 7 or 8 with that same thing, and you go back before that. I think that the commissioners should get double their current salary, and the mayor get double his. The amount of work that we do outside of sitting here 2 nights a week is quite a lot. Either reading, visiting, as we mentioned, we all took some rides down today. So we spend a lot of time outside of, I didn't think of the minimum wage angle on it, but I would like to include that in this budget to see where we could go. Don't know how much is there, what's left, what can be done, but needs to be brought up, my opinion.
You're looking at 100,000. Okay.
No.
That's all I can say. Well, yeah.
You're looking at 50,000. If everybody's doubles, that's 10,000. You already get round numbers, 9.6. So you're talking $50,000.
So you're saying I'm making 20,000.
No, you would be.
Right.
Barbara.
I'm going based off
100, that's 20.
positions here.
That's 100,000.
We're already
That's how I read
budgeted.
it.
You said double, right?
We're already budgeted
No, no,
for.
I'm going by what you said. You
Yeah.
said double.
We have a
everybody
math
double.
teacher job open.
Oh, hi, Barbara.
I didn't know if I could interject in the comment section here.
If you're going to cut my salary, no.
In addition to the salary increase, there's a 7.65% payroll tax cost that the town incurs. And additionally, there's also the state of Florida, the Florida Retirement System match, which is a little bit over 50%.
And workers' comp.
And workers' comp will change a little bit for the salary, yes.
Effective when you change that. Every job goes through it.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, just stay in the facts. That's all.
it's just long overdue.
No, no,
And
I have no issues if that's what you're requesting.
well,
So,
that's my request.
Yeah.
I'm one
I
of
mean-
5, so.
well, you're 2.
Well, his numbers came a lot lower.
Yeah. Actually, you can't, I'm sorry, you can't talk right now. I apologize, not during this part of the meeting. If you
So-
want to talk to us afterwards, you can provide us with your, I understand,
That's that
that's where you
sunshine
would
law
make,
that
that's
drives us
sunshine
all
law.
crazy. So.
Right. If I may make the suggestion, at the next meeting, put in a public comment for that purpose. Okay? That will work. You can reach
Well-
out to us individually after that public comment, and we can give you our deliberations on it.
That sounds like a
But
no.
No, that's not what he asked. The answer is no. We cannot respond back to
Yeah,
you.
okay, if you're
Right.
talking the public comment, no. If
Right.
you're talking reaching out to us individually, yes. Okay? As simplistic as it can be,
Okay.
just to let you know.
That was a fun ending. Anybody else?
So we'll go ahead and add that in as a discussion,
What's that?
the raising of salaries.
Yeah, if we're gonna do that, we want to see all of the expenses that are associated with it, Barbara.
Correct.
What would be FICA? What would be the contribution to FRA? I don't know if we could even participate in FRA.
FRS, you do.
Yeah,
right?
she's gonna provide us
So,
all that.
for all of that, because I'm looking at 100,000 just for salaries alone, and that doesn't include insurance, that doesn't include, all of those other, and the contribution, that 3.3 or 6.6, whatever that is for FRA. So that's all I want to say.
All right, wait. I can't see where you're saying 100. We already got 50. 50's already budgeted.
No, but what I'm saying is that when you look at it, and we're at that point in time, when they look at a salary, they're just not looking at half of it. They're looking at what the total amount would be. So 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, just round the number off, okay? Because that's 19. That's 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, plus whatever that would be for medical, for FRA, for workman's comp, whatever it's associated with. That's more than that. Right now it's half of it. We're at maybe 60 for all of us, but when you look at it, it's going to be an extra 125. That's just me just trying to do some numbers in my head, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Barbara?
We'll wait for Barbara, because I totally disagree
Just
with you.
before we go any further of this, just do what you have to do to get us our numbers and then present it. And
I will
bring it
make
to
your
our attention.
schedule.
Okay? We are not experts here in that line of work. That's where you come in.
Not that I don't agree.
We are not experts in this line of work. That's where you come in. Okay?
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yes.
Thank you.
Knowing you all, yes, I do.
No, wait a second. The vice mayor and the mayor have not had their comments yet.
Correct.
Did I get 3 things? Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Vice Mayor.
No comment.
Mayor, no comment. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.